What is your favorite American expression?
In August, in Kansas City, it's hotter than two rats in a fucking wolf sock. That's my favorite. I have a bad teammate.
Alright, 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 alright. Alright, 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 alright. I never listen, I'm gonna listen. I wanna listen to the Dumb Zone.
Well, hello there. It's Dumb Zone Tuesday, 10/22, show number 254. We are without Dan McDowell again today. I'm Jake Kemp.
I'm Blake Jones.
And in for Dan today, yet again, who is it?
Everybody, give a warm welcome to today's special guest host, Danny Heavy Metal Baines.
The 80s video is so good.
God damn. Just training the camera on Jake is enough. Just leave it on him. That is the most weirdest robotic headbanging I've ever seen.
It's like someone just poured acid into a Tesla robot.
It's like you're getting shot by a machine gun in a movie. Wouldn't you just drop after the first bullet, you think?
Yeah, probably so.
How do they do that in the mob movies where they're just unleashing an automatic weapon into the body and they're still standing and just going blah, 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 blah.
I don't know, but I like it.
Yeah. Watch that Gangs of London. You'll see a lot of that.
Do you love England?
Not really. I'm not an Anglophile. Not like
I'm an Anglophobe.
Like Davey or Peter Welpton.
Yeah. I'm an Anglophobe. It's one of the last groups of people you can still comfortably hate. Get away with it. Nobody's going to say anything about it. Their food's gross. They're boring. They're mean. Their weather's bad.
But
they ruin most of the modern world.
I feel like I've run through every American crime show that's worth a shit.
Maybe it's more that you just like crime.
I love crime, and it's nice to have a pretty untapped source of content. And, you know, BritBox and, man, even Netflix and Prime or Hulu are in the game doing pretty good British crime. So, yeah. And then once I'm done with that, dude, I went through, all the samurai stuff. We watched Shogun. And
Shogun was great.
And what was the other one with the one that was written by Bruce Lee like 50 years
Karate
ago?
Kid.
Not Karate Kid. But it was like a crime show based in the late 1800s in San Francisco, and it's gory and fun.
Talking about the triads, Blake?
What was that thing called? It doesn't matter. Warrior.
The Godfather.
It's called Warrior. Did you watch Warrior, Rob? It's great, right? Super fun. You told me about it. And you rolled through the whole thing.
You guys' lives,
is a blast,
you guys'
man.
lives rule.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's you know what it is, dude? It's the 1 or 2 hours that I actually get to myself if I'm not working at night after the kid goes to bed, before I have to go to bed. That's just mine. And I usually spend it catching up on my stories.
You know what I'm doing at that time?
Probably sleeping.
Thinking about football.
Well, if you're not thinking about football, you're dreaming about
They
football.
used to walk by me every single day. Actually, it wasn't every single day. It was enough to surprise me, and he would just pop his head into the control room and say, Jake, are you thinking about football?
And 9 times out of 10, the answer was yes, because that's all Jake thinks about is football.
Joining us in studio today, one half of the mom game. I don't think we have one. That's Emily Jones.
Emily Heavy Metal Jones.
I'm into so many different types of music. This is probably the only one I'm not into.
You closed the gate on that one?
I did. The gate is closed on heavy metal for this old ass lady.
What a damn shame.
Yeah.
I'll still keep.
I'll make you a playlist, baby.
I was gonna say
will
I
you?
still keep it on there. I honestly think it's also kind of lame how people have turned into bragging about how they're into everything, and I do it myself. Because like social media teams will think this is a good question when they want to go get to know athletes, and a little bit of everything.
What's your song of the summer?
Yeah.
Ooh, it's a good one.
So we've tried this. What are you listening to right now? Everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
What's your favorite?
Yeah. I just want one of them to be like nothing with black people, and really just set the tone and be like, okay, that's a stance. Could work either way. Yeah, my playlist goes from Sabrina Carpenter to Slayer.
Yeah.
For the workouts.
Isn't it amazing that the older you get, that you kind of, if it's good, you like it, and you don't really care what anybody thinks? We're in 1986.
Oh, yeah, it had to be cool.
There's a keyboard in it.
Yeah.
Fuck that shit.
Right, that's lame. Yeah, I was definitely that guy in high school.
Yeah.
I was into this before you, dude, so I don't want you pretending like you're into them now because Enema of the State came out. I was into them when Dude Ranch came out, okay?
Yeah.
I'm on a different level here. And now I listen to Charlie XCX every morning.
I don't even know who that is.
What?
I don't know.
I can tell
He's
somebody
the one that came up with the.
somebody didn't have a Brett Summer.
I guess not.
Thank you.
She's
I learned about
fantastic.
that.
Is he the one that?
Oh, it's a girl.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it's,
English lady.
It's not the dude that,
Oh.
that did heroin and jumped out of a window.
No.
Who's that guy?
Liam
something?
Payne.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. What's happening with that?
Well, nothing now.
Oh, he died.
An autopsy.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
Probably a funeral.
Yeah.
Remembrances,
Yeah.
flowers.
I did
And
not
people
know
move
about
on.
pink meth.
What's that?
Or no, pink cocaine.
Yeah, I don't either.
Pink
I don't know.
something.
Probably just better.
It's just a mix of all of the hard stuff,
Okay.
apparently.
Yeah.
Sounds awesome.
See, same thing. Like, I wish a football player would be like, I only listen to One Direction. Just give you a real answer. Or baseball player. You have to ask these silly questions throughout your career.
Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of what my career's resorted to.
Don't reduce her.
No,
I said
it's-
throughout your career.
Listen, even 20 years of covering the Texas Rangers, and you have to know what I get asked the most. Oh,
Besides, can I get tickets?
that's your
Yeah.
spot on there. Boy, those Gatorade baths, those
Oh.
Powerade showers, and
Yep.
I feel like I've done a pretty good job for 20 fucking years covering a team, and this is what I get. Like, I remember that time when Elvis Andrus got you with that red Gatorade, and I'm like, okay, well, here we are.
But it does bring an interesting question. Have you ever had to, in moments where Gatorade might be in play, like consider a tire lest we run into like a wet T-shirt contest type situation?
Yes. So they used to be way more prevalent
Yeah.
than they are now. Now they don't happen. That's not our team isn't really it's not built like that anymore.
It kind of
baseball.
disappeared after Beltray left, right?
Yes, for
Yeah.
sure. Well, I mean, Elvis and
Elvis.
Ruge drove that thing.
Sure.
For sure.
But that era is what I'm speaking
yes.
of specifically.
But it's funny that you mentioned that because, as a matter of fact, the guest that we had on last week on the Mom Game podcast was Jeff Rancour, who was part of the 2010 World Series run with the Rangers. And in Oakland, when we clinched, I wore I strategically planned this. Like, my husband was with me on the trip, actually. And I remember saying to him, like, I went into the bathroom. I was wearing like a cream colored blouse with a cream colored undershirt under it with a bra under it. Okay. So I have 3 layers to protect anything showing. And I made sure that the undershirt had a built-in whatever, but it looked apparently white on TV that I rocked that into the clubhouse, knowing full well what was going to happen. And nothing was seen or could be seen or whatever, but that it was a huge topic of conversation. But I will say the time that I got it the worst was when I was interviewing Josh Hamilton. I don't even remember what year it was.
Yeah.
And it was the red. And immediately I panicked because I was not prepared for that. And I was wearing a very thin, like satiny type dress because it's hot as fuck in that time of year. And at this point, I'm just trying not to die and sweat through everything I have. And I just remember thinking to myself, like, this thing is clinging to me. I don't know what's going on downstairs that can be seen. I was way less worried about what was upstairs.
Yeah, no, especially given the flavor.
Yes.
Yep.
And
Of the
so
Gatorade.
I just was like, so that was the most panicked I've ever been. But yeah, you take it into account. Like, when we went to the World Series last year and made that run, I was very cognizant of what I was wearing that day to be sure that things were. And usually in those cases, you just get a T-shirt on the way in and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So.
They take care of the dry cleaning?
No, Elvis and Rugi actually did buy me a really nice purse and wallet.
Okay.
Many years back for just kind of all the shit I put up with from them.
Were you always just collateral damage, or did they ever dump it directly on you?
No. Elvis was absolutely trying, for sure. It was a game that we had for a long time. I tried the whole. Remember, John, I don't know if you're seeing the clip of me with the stupid ass. I don't know what I was thinking. That the spray.
Yeah, I think I've seen that.
It was so dumb. Like, what was I thinking? They've got a giant fucking cooler of Gatorade, and that I'm gonna ward them off with like some silly string. Like, I don't know. It was whatever. I mean, you live and learn. But
do you carry pepper spray?
I used to when I ran a lot.
Yep.
Now I don't run a lot.
You guys ever purchased that for a woman?
Pepper spray?
No, never have.
Mine carries a pocket knife.
Oh,
gee, what is this?
Switchblade.
The Outsiders? I doubt that's going to be that effective.
Outsiders.
Just a girl from Haltom.
Yeah.
That tracks, right?
Yes.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bought my wife some because she used to do a lot of sales calls in the west side of Fort Worth, extending all the way out to Lubbock, Abilene. And she definitely had to frequent some beaten gas stations. But once I got it, I'm like, she's never going to be able to use this quick enough. Like, maybe if you're running and it's right there, but if it's like in your purse, unless you're walking into the gas station with it, I don't know. I think you're more likely to end up getting pepper sprayed yourself.
Yeah, I have some in my car.
Yeah.
But I'm like, what good is that going to do?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, pause the attack. Let me go grab my pepper spray out of my console in the car.
What'd you guys do on the mom game this morning? I know you just got done. Did you curse a bunch?
We cursed.
Did you talk about your vagina?
We did not. No vagina talk today.
Today?
Not today.
I guess I won't listen.
We did tease some butt stuff coming up later on next week.
Is this after I left?
It was.
Oh, my.
We got into a little political talk with Danny.
Oh, great.
It was less about politics and more kind of like
how fucked up we are as a country and as people.
Yeah.
How normal we are.
Yeah.
We got into some of that. We had big fair talk.
Ooh.
Julie bought a mattress at the fair, which is the most Julie thing ever.
Yeah, she did. and the initial sticker price that she was quoted was $15,000.
Hey, they make
for
those.
a mattress. I'm like, you can get a pretty reliable car for that.
Yeah, Julie, it still amazes me to this day, 5 years into the mom game almost, how different we are.
Yeah.
Like how vastly different we are and how much I just love her and love being around her. See?
How do you get it home?
Well, they ship
deliver
it to you.
Okay, so you just went and laid on it at the fair.
Yeah, they have all that stuff.
It won't surprise you. It took her 10 minutes to tell the fucking mattress buying story, which
was worth it.
Giving me anxiety in itself.
Yep.
Not to mention the fact that she's rolling around the fair with the
cash
sole
or something?
purpose. No, she wanted.
Oh, she went there.
She was like, we can kill two birds with one stone. Take the kids to the fair. My mom's coming with us. She can watch the kids while we go buy a mattress.
That's
unreal.
One of the weirdest things I've ever heard.
But it's so Julie.
I would agree.
And it's why I love her. It's why I love her.
Lay down right in the midway.
Oh, yeah. She said they tried out so many mattresses.
They have a bunch?
Yes.
It's like a showroom.
Yes.
You never seen this?
No.
There's vendors that set up like big displays for you to go there, sample their stuff. They got salespeople right there on staff, and they will hard effing sell you whatever they're dishing out. And then you basically put like a deposit down on it, and then pay them in full. They'll bring it to your damn house.
And Ryder had a bloody nose on like the $15,000 mattress.
Dude, my ex's, Malcolm's mom's parents bought a freaking hot tub from the state fair one year.
That checks out.
And got it delivered.
I got a hot tub at the state fair. Yeah, I got one there.
Yeah.
Did you go there with that intention?
No, we were walking by all the hot tubs and went, all right, shit, let's get a hot tub.
Yeah.
Who has a hot tub this side of Broken Bow, Oklahoma?
Dude, I want one bad.
Like
It's always been my
ground
dream.
to have a
Well,
hot tub?
Yeah.
well, we have.
You'll never
Like
use it.
Yes,
it's
I
like
will.
the
Trust me,
Bowflex.
I'm
the
different.
You're different.
I
Everybody
love hot
says
tubs
that.
more than the normal person loves hot tubs.
lot of maintenance, though, buddy.
Yeah, you don't want
I'm
that.
not dealing with that myself.
Well, who
You gotta
is?
have a
The
hot
pool
tub
guy.
The pool guy.
Wait, so you have a pool but not a hot tub?
Mhm.
Okay, that's
But I think it would, if we tried to add it, it would be
More-
way
more
than
expensive.
because we'd have to
above-ground
get
hot
gas
tub.
run to it, which
Yeah.
our pool's not heated, so it'd be a problem. But I want one. I've
will
always wanted
say-
one. Two things:
Go to the
hot
fair.
tub, hammock, 2025, manifesting.
hammock.
Fuck yeah, they got nice ones now too.
Yeah.
Not like we had one at my grandparents' farm, but I'm pretty sure my grandpa just made it. I mean, it was dope, but now they have ones
Out
that
of
are,
rope?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. What about
He lives on a farm.
What about the sling thing? That's not like a hammock, but it's like a blanket pulled up on rope.
That would work.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be. That's
Seems
my
like
dream.
that would be way easier.
I think the closest thing, and you may remember this, the closest thing I ever did to what Julie did at the state fair is I bought a set of king-size sheets at a boat show once.
Okay. So I told you, Julie was like, I want to take you. She takes me to the fair. I have so much social anxiety. It's unbelievable. I'm like so overwhelmed and just want to get the hell out of there. And she's like, I want to take you shopping. They've got really good sheets here. And I was like, it's the fair. Like,
But
what are you doing?
In my case, it was before I really understood that thread count is kind of, it doesn't really matter. It depends on the quality of the thread being used. And these sheets were 1,200 thread count. And I was like, well, I've never seen
Didn't even know
this
they
many
went that high.
threads. Yeah. And they were only $40. And the guy knocked off 10. So I got this badass set of sheets for $30, put them on the bed, didn't wash them, which was stupid.
That's
or smart. Enjoyed them for like a week. And I'm like, well, time to wash these. Put them in the washer. And I pretty much think they dissolved.
Yep.
Disintegrated.
Yeah. So that was my
Sheets, hot tubs.
at a boat show.
And corny dogs. The fair has it
I
all.
mean, that's what I thought. I thought you were just there to shoot into a constricted basketball rim and get a corn dog. You guys are like financing home intercom systems.
So, but you know what's brilliant about the fair, and this is what casinos did too. Like casinos, whoever figured out like we're gonna trade money for chips. You know, like we're gonna here's $500. I'm gonna give it back to you in chips.
Yep.
Because it totally changes your whole psychology. Like,
'Cause it doesn't
these
look
are
like
just
money.
Chips. It's not cash. It's just chips. Same thing with the tickets at the fair. You can't do shit at the fair with anything but tickets. So it's just like it's the most brilliant thing ever because it's like, oh, it's just this. It's just tickets. It's how many ever tickets?
I guess I need to go back next time I have a big purchase coming up.
Mm-hmm.
I think they sell cars there.
They do. Oh, yes, they do. Yes, they have.
According
You
to
go to the
Julie-
big sales or the big barn that has the car show stuff, all the new latest models. They're salespeople
According
for
to-
every make or for every company. They're
Yeah.
salespeople that will put you into a new Ford Bronco if you want.
And according to Julie, they're corporate sponsored events, so you get corporate pricing. This is her thinking. This is her logic.
I am entirely unsurprised that she had thought that through.
Yeah.
And it was bargain shopping based on the fair corporate discount.
Oh, and she haggled over that mattress for what?
So special.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah,
her.
she got them down off their asking price
Yeah.
quite a bit. She said.
15 grand. Yeah, I would too.
Well, I don't think she went with the deluxe super model.
That's
But
insane.
yeah,
Waterbed.
yeah.
Well, it sounds like an eventful morning for you guys.
Bring back waterbeds.
You sure?
Were they
No.
good?
No, it doesn't work.
My parents had one.
Yeah, I
Dad
think it
had
was
one.
my grandparents.
Kinda creeped
had
me
one,
out.
A different one. Oh yeah, and it smelled too.
Disgusting.
Did it?
Yeah, the water. If you don't change the water all the time, that water gets gross. I mean, if, for example, I've had this water bottle. Like, I'll buy one of these waters per week, and I'll refill it every day, a lot.
With what kind of water? Tap water or
The fridge water. There's a
Fridge water?
filter on it.
Okay.
But I can tell by the end of the week that it tastes different. Like, if you keep water in a container, especially one like this, or a waterbed, dude, it's like rubber.
Does anyone have a waterbed anymore?
I bet someone has one as a bit,
Yeah.
and I bet you could get them on eBay as a bit. But no, I mean,
Do you know how hard it would be to get your ass over that wall that the waterbed is in?
Yeah, you kind of got to bounce. and
Oh
then
my
let it
gosh, you got to
come
get
back
up and you got to get over.
yeah.
catapult you over.
I mean, just being honest with you, I think there was definitely undertone of like this will improve your sex.
Oh yeah.
I think the idea was like, oh hey, you know how?
Babe.
What if you're
That
like?
was the
What if it were
subtext.
like you were
Yes.
on a boat?
It was the subtext of the waterbed.
Yeah.
Ocean
and
of the ocean.
That's right.
and it's a complete total fallacy.
Of course it is. Of course it is. I mean, think about it this way.
You
like,
want to ruin your marriage? You want to take the spice out of your marriage? Get a fucking waterbed.
You know when you would like back in the day when ESPN had nothing going on and they would show like the logging guys imagine trying to have sex standing on one of those logs. Like that's basically what you're in for. Like you're
Hard enough.
no balance.
Yeah, we don't need to
Yeah.
trick.
Let's not complicate this any more than
Yeah.
it needs to be.
There are ways that I'm okay with complicating, but
No, not like we talked about.
sounds like they're
before
going
the
to talk
show.
about that next week.
It's not.
There's a different kind of waterbed Jake's really not into.
Yeah, I think that's gross.
We talked about it.
Do tell.
Yeah, I'm pretty liberal when it comes to sex, but I think anybody who's into TT is disgusting. I think that's the grossest thing I could ever imagine.
TT.
Is that a sex thing?
Oh yeah.
Come on. They were trying to ring up Trump on that, saying that
Oh really?
when he went to Russia that was part of how they wined and dined him was
You never heard the
Yeah.
term water
The
sports
Steele
when it comes to
dossier?
lovemaking?
I
Could have
feel
to be
like
fake.
I am very like in the know about sex stuff.
Really?
you're maybe down in your division, but you're up here.
Yes.
You're in all Madden mode right
Next-
now.
Yeah, this is the Power 5 up here.
Excellent point. You're right. I'm over here in the Mountain West.
Yeah.
That's
That's Colorado State. That's cute.
okay. All right. That's cute.
Have you ever heard of the show? It's the one with Paul Giamatti that I thought was ridiculous. Is it
Billion?
Billions.
Oh, yeah.
Billions.
the opening scene? He's getting TT'd on by his
Mm-hmm.
dominating
that?
girlfriend, wife.
I'd,
Yeah, I'm just
Dudes
not.
are into
I'd probably let her
domination.
do it.
I'm what? Her in particular?
Mm-hmm.
She's a very nice looking lady.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, domination, fine. You know, you walk me like a dog, but you're not peeing on me. That's not happening. Speaking of bodily functions, when we have a mom here,
Okay.
you know how like some people will do I do this before most people get up in the morning
Oh,
type
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Like
oh,
the Marines.
I've trained harder than you train all day before the sun comes up. Bob used to have it in his Twitter profile of like, I'm sportsing harder than you sports all day before whatever time. Well, mine for today is I have manually fished out a human turd from a bathtub before anybody else in here was awake today.
Ay,
Maybe not
ay.
awake, but
Go ahead.
the boy had a little bit of throw up on him when he woke up. A little sick. We thought, all right, well, probably be best to just bathe him. Take a quick bath. You'll feel better after the bath. And we did. And he's fine to be in the bath by himself while I'm in the room folding or doing whatever I'm doing.
Yep.
And yeah.
He went full Caddyshack in the pool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he obviously thought it was hilarious.
So then what do you do after that? So then you have to obviously fish it out, and then you got to drain.
Well, I
Clean the tub
say
Clean.
and then rebathe.
my thought, well, no, he was towards the end, and it was like a solid, surprisingly contained. So we just kind of stood him up and dumped water and soap on him and washed him off, and it was done. But so the debate was the order of operations here. Do I drain and then fish out, or fish out and drain?
Mash it down the drain with like a
Oh,
chopstick.
No.
See,
no.
I'm going to be honest. That was the play that I called in from the sideline.
Yeah.
And my wife was like, you got to be out of your fucking mind.
She audibled that.
She
Where
saw
does she
something-
think this stuff goes anyway? It's
I
all
know,
going
that's
to
what
the
I
same
said.
place.
She saw something different at the line of scrimmage.
She's
okay?
like, that's horrible. So I drained the tub, and the turds stayed whole and in place. So I just grabbed like a baby wipe
And
for
then
each
put
one
it
of them and picked up the whole turd, and then sprayed it down.
So can I tell you,
He thought he was super
Loving
into it. Yeah.
proud, what a game changer it is when your kids can shower like
Oh, I
by
know, I
themselves.
bet. Yeah.
Like
I
it's,
bet.
it is so amazing.
What's 8
They can-
maybe?
Around there, I was, my girlfriends always say I'm a progressive as a mom, but I had mine pretty early learning how to do that themselves because it's a beatdown.
It is. It's
I mean-
fun when they're at the age they are now. We've
Yes.
also had the debate of what are yours both? You have a boy and a girl, right?
I've got a 13-year-old boy, 11-year-old girl.
When did they stop bathing together so that I don't end up in
Oh,
some sort of
gosh.
trouble?
It was early.
Okay, because we'll still do. My daughter.
But
turns,
how old are yours?
Girl turned 6 in January. Boy is 2.
So see, it's such a much bigger age gap. With mine, they were so close. They're 22 months apart, so it was just too. I don't know. They fight they fight all the time.
They fight a little bit, but it's fun fighting. Like she'll mess with them.
Well, and you have an older girl, which is that's also different.
But I'm just thinking, there's a point here where this probably has to stop.
6 and 2.
Like I wouldn't get
You're
in with
fine
her.
now.
I don't get in with her anymore.
You know what?
But when she was like
Same,
3,
same.
4,
Okay.
I did. At least
He's
3.
not going to care until he's probably 4. She'll be the one that tells you she's done taking a bath
Well,
with
and that's
him.
when my kids started asking about body parts, then you knew that was it's time.
We've kind of already.
It's all covered.
Yeah.
It's pretty much covered with her now. Like if I'm changing in the room, she'll turn around. I'm like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "I don't want to see your penis."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Amen.
like, okay.
Amen.
Didn't think about it really.
Yeah.
And he'll stand up and pee in the tub, and she thinks it's like the funniest thing in the world. She's like, "Okay, it's coming out of his penis."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, that's the size of the whole operation right there."
Oh yeah. The other day, Malcolm was playing with my dog or our dog's tail, and he kept lifting it up. I go, "What are you doing?" He goes, "I'm trying to see Geraldine's vagina." Yeah, you are.
Okay.
Okay.
Had a kid.
It's right there.
Yep. Probably will be tomorrow
Satisfied?
too.
I had a kid.
What other things do they? By the way, welcome to this edition of the Dad Game. What other things did they say that you were a progressive parent about?
Oh, God, am I killing
Blake
those
spanks his kid.
things. Oh, I spanked.
You're not a progressive parent. You're out of the woke club.
Okay, well, sorry. I'll see myself out. Yeah, we
It's
spanked.
easy for me to say right
But
now, right? All high and mighty.
I feel like now, though, it is progressive. It's anti. I don't know. Whatever. It's not something people do.
No.
You know who not taught me, but you know who told me a good trick was Tom Grieve. He told me about he's like, use a wooden spoon.
Oh, trust me, I've received a wooden spoon
And
countless
it
times.
got where, I would spank, like, not even hurt, but that thing that packs a little punch.
Yeah.
And then from then on, it's like not just, okay, well, my hands are here all the time, but if I pull out the wooden spoon, it's like.
It's like
I'm
the
not-
cocking of a shotgun.
I am
like
not
the pump.
fucking
Like,
around.
all right, you understand what's next, right?
But then they reach a certain point where it doesn't, they're like, that's cute.
I got there quick.
Yeah. And
I'm
so it's like,
how about another one?
then it doesn't do any good.
Yeah, it's
so it's
not.
like, well,
Or-
what am I?
Or when
I'm-
you're in the
I'm
middle
over it.
of receiving a beating and you start laughing.
Oh,
They don't like that.
No, they don't.
They don't like that at all.
They don't.
But I quickly figured out that they don't like that at all, so I started doing it every
Yeah,
time.
right.
Totally.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
all you got?
I was,
Yeah.
yeah. I was a little early on the phone. My thing is like, my friends would be like, I mean, we're not letting our get a phone. I'm like, your kid's got a iPad with Wi-Fi, which is the same fucking
Yeah.
thing as a phone.
Yeah.
So save me this. It's the same thing.
When did the oldest one get a phone?
10,
What about the youngest one?
9.
And that's a little quick, or is that close to normal?
No, that's quick. I feel
Okay.
like it's quick. But we also have, monitors on it.
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. I mean, people will be like, brag about, mine's 13 and he doesn't
Oh,
have a
that's
phone yet. And I'm
cool,
like,
dude.
okay.
Yeah.
To each his own. It's the same thing like on, and I'm sure y'all have been through this. If you go to a restaurant, I remember when they were little.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like at this point, like, I just want my kids to shut the fuck up and let us have dinner. And also, I'm looking out for all you people.
Sure.
Because let me tell you what my kids can do.
You want to judge me for my kid coming over and dumping queso on your head, or judge
Exactly.
me for my kid doing ABC mouse at dinner?
Exactly.
I'll let you pick.
Yeah, for sure. And so
The
it's
choice
like,
is yours.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, I was like, okay, sorry, you don't think I'm a great parent. I should have brought more arts and crafts, but I didn't.
Yeah. And I forgot my macaroni and glue.
Right. I don't.
Butterscotch candy.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Now we will go eat at like 5:30.
Oh, same.
That's a must.
So have you gotten to this point yet to where you basically have 2 dinners because your kids are starving when they get home from school
Yeah.
and they got to eat before practice and then now, or game or whatever. And then now it's like they're starving when they get home from said practice or game. So they've got to eat again. And I just am like, and thankfully mine are at the point where it's like, well, heat something up, like do whatever. Like I'm not getting back in the kitchen. Not like I'm ever hardly in there, but
I was going to say, do tell.
I made a casserole Sunday.
Okay.
I was real proud. of myself.
You just gotta go. You just gotta go with what the fuck? Not the air fryer, the Instant Pot.
See, I don't have one of those.
It's undefeated. If I
Is
can do
it?
it, yeah. Soups, stews, like throw a couple chicken breasts
What's the
in there.
difference between an Instapot and a crock pot?
Well, it's more instant. It's quicker. Like you
hence
can
the
take
name.
2 frozen chicken breasts, dump a can of salsa in there, spice it a little bit how you want. Now that would take you like 8 hours in a crock pot.
Yeah, overnight.
This would
Yeah.
take like 40 to 45 minutes. And now
Okay.
you just pull it apart. You got chicken tacos or chicken bowls.
Mm-hmm.
This is
Okay.
free advice.
Thank
So
you.
what do you have coming up that you would like us to talk about?
So we have the 10th annual Do It for Durrett Foundation fundraiser. So I don't know how familiar you guys are or your audience is. I think y'all are
Pretty
probably
familiar.
Pretty familiar.
Yeah.
So the Do It for Durrett Foundation was formed 10 years ago after the sudden passing of our friend and colleague Richard Durrett, who covered the Rangers among many other DFW sports teams for a long period of time. He died suddenly on June 17th of 2014, sorry. And he just literally out of nowhere.
Yeah.
He left behind a pregnant wife, Kelly, was pregnant with Margot at the time, and then 2 small children, Owen and Alice. And right after that happened, his death happened, I had never even met Kelly, Richard's wife, but reached out to John Daniels, who was the general manager of the Rangers at the time, and said she was actually I can't remember if she was in California or Florida at Disney with her kids. And when this happened. And so I reached out to JD and was like, we've got to get her home. Like, what can we do to help? Anyway, we all kind of galvanized. It was Anthony Andro, Jeff Wilson, John Daniels, and myself kind of spearheaded this concert, a benefit concert for Kelly and the kids. It was at Billy Bob's. The community outpouring was incredible. Danny is actually the one that came up with the name of this foundation and of this event. Which is crazy to think about 10 years later, and basically just asked for these Texas country music guys to just basically play for free. They did, and we raised $200,000 for Kelly that night, and the family. After that, she was adamant about paying it forward and wanting to continue the work that we had started, and so we started the Do It for Durrett Foundation. And we have, a couple of different fundraisers every year. This year we've consolidated it into one event, one day event that actually has 2 within it. It's a golf tournament in the morning at Grapevine Golf Club, and then a concert by the Josh Abbott Band at Texas Live in the evening. So we've raised upwards of $2 million to date and helped more than 250 families. And so we basically just help families who have been impacted by sudden loss. We are a small foundation. We've grown now to 7 on our board, adding Ashley Ornisi, who you guys probably know from the Stars, and Greg Denman, who is from Next Step Recruiting and organized the golf tournament that benefited us for a number of years. And so it's the 7 of us. We do all the work. We take 0 money. There's no overhead fee. There is nothing. Every bit of every dollar we raise goes directly to families impacted by sudden loss. And we have never had to turn a family away that has reached out for help. Our vetting process is pretty simple. We, just do our due diligence on our own. There's no application process, because when you're faced with sudden loss in a time like that, the last thing you have time to do is to fill out some fucking paperwork. And so it's basically word of mouth. We, double check to make sure that, that things are valid and that that the need is real. We've actually had some people turn us away and say, please help someone else. We're good. But you never know. So when people recommend, a family's for us to help, we reach out to them and, like I said, do our due diligence and then write them a check. And usually that happens within a week's time, if not sooner.
Wow. That's incredibly inspiring.
What a unique foundation. I've never even heard of anything like that to help, families that are suffering through the sudden death of a parent or a spouse, that there was resources like that.
It was a very pressing need.
Yeah, no doubt. And
and it's just, we can't, it's like Kelly, and Kelly is so eloquent, and she's she has so much grace. Like adore her and idolize her. She said, we can't take away. I mean, nothing's going to fix the pain. Nothing's going to ease that. But if we can help you focus on what you need to be focused on, which is your family and getting through this time, if we can, take care of the mortgage and the electric bill for a month, just to get you, to buy you some time to properly grieve, then that's what we're aiming to do. And I feel like for those who have experienced that loss, I mean, I experienced it with my dad, and it was during tax season. He was a CPA, and I just put my head down and was like, we've got to sell, my sister and I were like, we've got to sell his business before, and we've got to take care of his clients. That like my grief was so delayed because I was so worried about shit I really shouldn't be worried about, but that was important to us for his legacy or whatever. Anyway, but the bottom line is, I feel like a lot of times when you're in that moment, you're just forging ahead and taking care of the services and the funeral and all that stuff that's like it's like delayed grief. And so if we can take a little bit of something off your plate to where you can devote more time to like properly processing your feelings of loss and grief and helping your family through it and all that kind of stuff, that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, because you can delay it, but it doesn't go away.
No.
It typically gets worse.
Yeah, and that'll just smack you right in the face.
So what do people need to know?
So people need to know we are still in need of golfers. We are in need of concert goers. We are in need of sponsors still. If your business wants to be a part of, what a wonderful, connection to have with a fantastic foundation. So we're still looking for all those things. And our website is being a little wonky right now, so I'm not going to send people there. But I would just reach out to me on social media. I'm at Emily Jones 1977, which tells you exactly how old I am. And so reach out to me on Instagram. I don't hardly get on X, Twitter anymore, but
you had an incident.
Facebook, I did have an incident. And it's been so amazing, honestly, not being on there. I mean, I still have it on my phone. I just forget once you get out of the habit of checking it, and I totally got out of the habit. But yeah, reach out to me on social media. My email address, emilyjones1977@yahoo.com. If you want to be a part of it, please reach out to me directly. I will find a way if you want to be a part of it.
I would like to be there. Let's see,
I
you said
would
the
love
8th?
for you to be here. Yep, November 8th. It is a Friday.
Yeah, of course. I'm in.
Okay. Love it. Y'all donated a package for somebody to come hang out and hear or something.
I mean, you can say, I don't know, I would not say heroes, but if others want to call us heroes for that, we will not shout
legend.
them down.
Legend.
Yeah.
I think legend's probably fitting.
I think bare minimum is probably more fitting.
Shut up. All right. Well, we appreciate you being there. Yeah, you can check out on the screen if you're watching us on video there. Emily Jones 1977 at yahoo.com. It's doitfordirt.com. Now, we're going to produce on the fly here. I'm assuming we have not heard from our man who is engaged in jurisprudence.
You would be correct.
Okay. He is a Cowboys kicker who's at jury duty.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Being an all-pro doesn't get you out.
Does not.
Celebrities. They're just like us.
It's man on the street, or man of the people. So do you think we should try some viewer mail with her? Do you need to go right now?
No.
You can.
I'm good.
Let's try it.
Oh, dear.
With the nicknames?
Yes.
Oh, dear.
Maybe we'll warn her a little bit.
It's time to answer some of today's
No,
viewer
it's
mail.
Emily. Dude, she can handle anything.
That is
It's
true.
not directed at her.
So people have nicknames for Dan, and the theme will emerge in due time here.
Okay.
And I just read whatever they send.
Okay.
So, Dear Baron of the Birth Canal, today is world champion Dumb F Jeff Vick's birthday. While he is loyal to the Dumb Zone, he did betray his homeland and moved to Denver, where he is free to play in women's sports without persecution.
That's right. Yeah.
Leaders are Born Again Jake, the Aggie that gave Jimbo Fisher a national title plaque, and Judy Gemstone.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Has anyone ever said I'm their leader?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Just put it out there.
Sure. No, it doesn't hurt to just grovel and ask like that.
For sure. Like,
Baby arm to you and yours, Luis.
what would that be like if someone said I was their leader? That would be.
Well, heavy as
Might
the
not
head
get
that wears
read.
the crown, It can be a lot.
Dear Axe Wound Mauler, today is my husband Steve's Lewis Hamilton minus Dak Prescott's birthday. Jake was his leader until he went to rehab and started journaling like a pussy. Nobody likes a quitter, Jake.
Yep. Old journaling
did-
pussy.
What about I sent you a nice text.
Did you?
I did. You should check your phone.
He had 487,000 texts.
Yeah,
Since he-
it was.
sure you
since he
did.
got
It was
out.
over
And I think
700.
I think I just said like, I know you don't need to hear this from me, but
Well, that's awesome. I appreciate that.
yeah. Well, you should respond.
Jesus, I had a lot going on.
He would love to hear the Roast Twins take on Rehab. This is from Plashley.
That's actually not a bad idea, because they don't spare me.
No.
Dan's daughters are
Ruthless.
brutal together.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
They're
mean.
Dude, I bet they would rip me and
Oh yeah, no one is safe. I can
I
promise
can
you that.
only imagine the shit they would say about me.
Like if there's a meme or something that's a week old and Dan tries to ask him about it, they're like, yeah, that's like 7 days old. They're just we played him Grady's band. Grady Spencer in the Work, and very successful alt country band, and they were just disgusted
Yeah.
by it. And
But
we
you
played
know
it
what?
for him.
Doesn't Dan deserve that?
Yes.
It's everyone's response.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like we're doing things right here.
Yeah.
Hey, DFers, long time, first time. I'm Groobs' drummer in Pepper Theft. So I've met you before and been a fan for a long time. I was in Vegas for a Stars game when y'all were there for the annual Bad Radio Stars trip. And not only did I have a cigarette with Jake, I took an edible off his hand since he couldn't take it with him on the team plane.
A man, again,
Yeah.
of
A hero.
generosity.
Now
Yeah.
that is a
Can't even
heroic
take an
act.
edible on the team plane.
Go on.
Well, I mean,
Different sport.
I just do they do like drug checks there? I'm so confused. Were you just scared?
Yeah, I was scared.
Oh, okay.
October 22nd is my Pat Tillman at Arizona State's birthday. My leaders are Soroy's severance package and Jake's lake house picnic table. More Julie, less Sarah Hepola. Damn. Jack Beasley.
I wish I had time to tell Emily that whole story.
Poor Sarah.
The picnic table?
Yeah.
You want to
What?
do a TLDR?
My wife and I, several years ago, bought like a real rundown house at Lake Granbury
Yeah.
and fixed it up, put a lot of time into it, and eventually started renting it out on Airbnb.
Oh, I remember this story. You told it on the radio.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, and there was a family staying there. It was a lady who was early 20s. She had a kid or two. She was staying there with, I think, her mom, her mom's boyfriend, and another one of her mom's friends' couple. So 4 people in like their 40s, lady in her early 20s, and her kids. And when early 20s lady went down to bed with kids, the adults were not done. And this turned into me getting pictures from one of my neighbors out there of of one of the women. She had her hands up on our picnic table.
Okay.
Her friend,
Visualize.
who is
this.
the mom, by the way, in this situation. This is the real mom game. And her friend is behind her performing orally, while a man who, I don't know which one of them, he was one of their 2 boyfriends or husbands, but he was also enjoying himself while this was occurring.
Separately or connected?
Not connected.
Okay.
Which, what a bunch of, squares, right? Like, let my guy tag in. I don't know.
Maybe-
It was disgusting.
Maybe he was aiming at him or something.
Jesus, Blake.
Good
Blake.
afternoon, Uncle Snatcher.
Jesus.
Please
It's not always like this.
wish my brother
That's usually worse.
Tommy Hansen a happy birthday yesterday. His leaders are the nomadic lifestyle of being homeless and Blake's HCS updates.
Hey, our thoughts go out to those in the unhoused community.
Thanks.
It doesn't seem that fun.
And we are looking forward to seeing y'all on Thursday. This from Kelly, the director at Urban Tree Merchants.
Hey.
So come
See you there.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Right.
Guten Tag, Dental Dan, the womb wrecker.
Oh my gosh.
Colorado subby Vic. Today is my 46 minutes after 8 Eastern when American Airlines Flight 11 hit the North Tower of the World Trade Center birthday.
Jesus.
His leaders are Bits and Tits, Jake's leather Counting Crows jacket.
It doesn't exist, but
God, this is so inside. And the 8 board-certified physicians at Orthopedic Associates that offer a full spectrum of musculoskeletal care.
You know what that is, right?
remind me.
I think it's one of Blake's sponsored reads that he had to
there you
do.
go.
when he was
Yeah,
doing,
Argyle.
doing football.
We fished up some commercials I did when I was 23
Oh,
years
yeah.
old. I sound very confident.
23 going on 11.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
You think
not-
my voice is bad now?
And transitioning.
Yep.
Yeah.
All of that.
Yeah.
Less sober Jake, less BVB Luis. More drug.
Jesus, how's Luis catching strays
I don't
for
know.
trying to help out with Alzheimer's?
Shout out to the other Denver DFs, that from Vic.
Is that all you have?
No. Told you I got a lot.
Just run through them. I got good stuff over
Okay,
here.
dear connoisseur of cunt.
I love it when they just cut out the middle, man.
Yeah.
No
There's-
need to beat
yeah.
around the bush.
That,
As it
that
were,
is-
yeah.
that may have usurped Pussy Man as my favorite.
This proportion of the show does not end up on Fox, by the way.
I can't imagine why.
27. Yeah.
Yesterday was my good buddy Travis's Deuce Vaughn birthday. His leaders are Dan's extra hotel bed for effin', Judge Judy's ass, and Arnold Palmer's massive dong.
Do you prefer the king or two queens on the road?
King,
Really? Okay.
for sure.
More everyone but Sarah Hepla. Day 2 Marlon.
Just
Who's that?
Uncle Hotmail, October 22nd is the Larry Bird birthday of my good friend and former DZ subscriber, Olivia. She gave y'all a shot, decided it wasn't her thing, but does own 3 Dumb Zone crew necks.
they're good shirts.
Perhaps having her birthday read on the show will get her back on board. Doubtful, but maybe. Tim in Arlington.
Dumbzonemerch.com.
And then final one. Hello, my leaders. I'll refrain from any anatomical vulgarities since this is my daughter's 15th birthday shout out. She didn't feel like she wanted anything for her birthday, so I decided to get a Dumb Zone read from the Dumb Zone boys. Please say something nice and or funny for her special day. Love you guys. Brazier.
Brazier?
Mark Brazier.
Is it like,
He says Brasher rhymes with Frasier, like the TV show.
I was going to say, is it like Black Frasier?
That'd be Blazier.
Yeah, I don't think it's a smart move to give us your 15-year-old daughter's birthday and then say something funny.
And notice he did not give her name, so
Yeah.
we would call it hot.
Well, happy birthday.
Yeah.
I hope you make good grades.
And now to Jake's awesome stuff.
Black
Okay, so
Frazier,
we talked about this the other
radio
day.
host in D.C.
Yeah. Yeah. He Dan had an email from somebody. I'll try to go back to the beginning quickly. We all became obsessed with the Walker, Texas Ranger episode with Haley Joel Osment where he gets AIDS. It's where Walker told me I have AIDS came from. It's Conan O'Brien made this very, very popular on his show. We did a bunch of playlets on it. We had people from our old building read the play out. We were obsessed with it. So somebody recently sent us an episode of Mr. Belvedere where one of the kids that he takes care of, his good friend got AIDS. This is like late 80s, and everybody was super afraid of HIV and AIDS, and there was a lot of misinformation about it. So much like with family dramas and sitcoms that decided to address drug use, there were a lot of these shows that would take on misinformation around AIDS. And typically this was because the government was asking them to do it. No different than they did with propaganda for the military in World War II and etc. So
Wasn't the government paying them to insert these messages into their episodes?
I believe so. That's definitely how it was with we found out that's definitely what it was with, like, as I referenced on Home Improvement when Brad got caught with weed.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, he's going to overdose and die.
On weed.
Yeah. So they did this for
I felt
HIV,
like I was
for AIDS
dying
as well.
before.
And so Mr. Belvedere had one. Last week, our good friend in the Detroit Orchestra, Brandon, sent us a clip. He didn't know where it was
You have
from.
a friend in the Detroit Orchestra?
We do. Because last year,
Wow.
Machine and I went to go see Young Jeezy with the Atlanta Orchestra
Okay.
in Atlanta.
I bet that would be amazing.
It was the best concert I've ever been to in
Okay.
my life. And we were, I don't know, it was about 3% white. So that felt awesome. Everybody
Yeah.
was dressed very, very nice. We just kind of looked like scrubs. But this guy hit me up and was like, we've done one. Like, we've done them for rappers before. I think they did one for Eminem. Anyways, he sent me this clip and he's like, I don't know what this is from, but it's a cartoon where a kid has AIDS, right? So we played it. It's funny. The kid's shooting hoops and coach walks in and he's like, your mom called. Actually, I have the audio here. Yeah, let's play just the video clip of this one and then I'll play the rest of them for you. Yeah, it turns out it's Captain Planet.
She's worried. You want to talk?
Nothing to say. It's all over.
Not the way I hear it.
Coach,
I've got AIDS.
Wrong. You're HIV positive. Big difference. It could be years before you even get sick.
Yeah, but it's gonna happen. They probably won't even let me play in the big game.
Wrong again, Andrews. You're gonna be playing in that game, and anybody who says otherwise will have to deal with me.
You sure, Coach?
You worked hard to get here, Todd. I'm not gonna let you quit on me now.
Thanks, Coach.
Come on, let's work on your crossover dribble.
Forget about the AIDS.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So
Sounds like they got OJ to do the VO.
I think it's
That's
LeVar Burton.
lighting.
I think because I went to the IMDb page.
Yep.
It's Neil Patrick Harris is the student with HIV. So I went a step further. I went and bought this full episode from YouTube.
Thank you for doing that.
And watched it. And I forgot how hard Captain Planet rocks. That's a great show. It's multicultural. They got to incorporate people from all over. Yeah.
You're younger than me. I feel like this was after my time.
It was.
My cartoon time. Okay.
Yeah, it's like late 80s, early 90s.
I remember the name, but I was not aware of what it was until late last week.
Hero.
Okay.
Gonna bring pollution.
So wait,
down
was that
to
Captain Planet
zero.
that had AIDS?
No. What they would do is
that was Todd Andrews.
Yeah. So there was this guy, I think his name was Verminous Scum. He was like the bad guy. And somehow he was constantly using pollution and, like, frankly, in retrospect, bioweapons to try to take over the world. You know, and Captain Planet is like, well, we're going to use, fire, wind, earth. Our powers combined, and we're going to use natural resources.
Well, he got the band Earth, Wind, and Fire to fight crime?
All together. Yeah.
Brilliant.
So that's the whole episode. Now, why exactly Verminous Scum needed to spread misinformation about AIDS to pursue world domination? Not answered in the episode.
They're not great
They left that out.
on continuity in early 90s commercials.
So this is where you know that this is a
Cartoons.
propaganda piece from, what's Fauci, what was he in charge of? Health, National
Medical stuff.
That's, I believe, the official answer. Is medical stuff.
And doctory things.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
So this is when Todd
World
finds
Health
out.
Organization?
There you go.
No, that's the world.
American Health Organization, the AHO.
Center for Disease Control.
Let's go with that.
See,
In any case, this is when Todd goes to the doctor and gets some bad news.
Thanks for bailing me, Todd. Next week, bud, we're gonna do it.
Win the big game.
Oh.
Now, I realize out of context,
That's
it
how
makes
he
it
got
seem
HIV.
like he was about to have sex with his friend. And I swear to God, that was unintentional. That's his teammate. Love the transition.
I know it must be a shock.
Wait a second, Doc. Are you telling me I've got AIDS?
No, Todd. You tested positive for the HIV virus, and that leads to AIDS, but you don't have AIDS.
How could it happen?
His mom.
Well, there are only a few ways to contract the virus.
Oh, here we go.
Using drugs with needles, unprotected sex, or he could have gotten it from that blood transfusion he had a few years back.
Oh, yeah.
They weren't testing blood for the AIDS virus then.
Who cares how I got it? It stinks.
It does stink.
Todd,
Yeah, he takes off. Or it could have been that blood transfusion. Yeah, I think so, Doc.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he's like, yeah, having AIDS stinks. So here's the bad guy and his plan here.
AIDS is the best thing to come along since the Black Plague. I didn't know rats spread AIDS. We don't, you lummox. I'm talking about spreading hate and ignorance. And I'm just the rat for the job. Once we let people know the kid has AIDS, we can panic the whole town.
What?
Did he call him a lummox?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's out of the lexicon these days, I think.
Okay. We should
So then the coach tells him he has AIDS. Here's a brief, and then it starts getting around at the school because, and I couldn't get a good screenshot of this because a bunch of these like HBO, Netflix, if you try to screenshot something copywritten, you can't. But Verminous Scum put up posters all over town. They just have Todd's face on it, and across it, it just says AIDS. And people are walking up to it like, Todd, AIDS? So this is at the school.
Did you hear about Todd Andrews? Don't touch him. You could be next.
AIDS? Todd Andrews? AIDS?
Oh, you're kidding.
Gross.
Hey, Jeff, I hear your buddy Todd has AIDS. Man, what kind of trash are you talking? You better not be spreading that. What? You sticking up for him? Maybe you got it too. Maybe you and him. Shut up.
He
sounds
almost went
gay.
there.
Oh.
He almost went there.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Here he comes. Oh, don't touch him.
Hey, Jeff, you set for the game?
Hey, other people have to use that fountain.
Water
you don't wanna
fountain.
catch AIDS? Come on, deny it.
Todd, tell him he's wrong. Look, man, I wanted to tell you.
You've got it? That's right, big shot. You're finished playing basketball.
Jeff,
Back off.
This guy sounds like Bobcat Goldthwait.
That's right.
Basketball.
That's right, big shot. You're finished playing basketball.
Jeff,
Back off, Todd. Don't touch me.
Don't worry.
I won't.
Some hero you are, Andrews.
Now they're outside, the opposing parents.
I cannot believe this. Listen, the disease is here. Protect your children. Get rid of AIDS in your town.
Scum's posters. It's disgusting.
We have a right to protect ourselves.
But there is no need to panic.
What do you know? You can bet my kid's not going to play in that basketball game. Not if Todd Andrews plays.
No siree.
But there is no need to panic.
Like I said,
that?
they have people from all over the world. It's Captain Planet,
I guess.
Captain.
So our last one
Poor
here.
Todd, man.
I know. Yeah. So and he runs away. His mom, they live on like a little, couple acre estate. They have a vegetable stand. The townspeople destroy the vegetable stand because
There could be AIDS on the vegetables.
Got to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Got to get rid of it. Todd bails, and Captain Planet and his team rescue him, and they bring him back to his school. And they're like, "You're going to play in the big game." And so at halftime, he walks in with his coach, or with Captain Planet, and meets his coach, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Verminous Scum is in the stands, and he's there to make
heckle?
sure that,
Yeah.
And so Todd's going to come back, and he's like, all right. The coach tries to tell him, the whole crowd, like, you can't get it from just touching somebody. That's the point of the episode from the government standpoint. And I cried laughing the first time I heard this.
The Bobcats are coming back on the floor for the second half, and they don't look too happy, folks. But hang on.
Captain Planet.
Andrews is on the court.
Todd Andrews.
How about it, Coach?
Can he play?
Hey, what's he doing here? He's not going to infect my players. Get him out of here. He's got AIDS.
Oh my gosh.
What is happening? Oh my gosh. Can you just play the last sentence?
Get him out of here. He's got AIDS.
Just think about the guy that's got that script in a ISO booth, going, what?
He's got AIDS.
And the producer, no, elongate AIDS.
I could give you more.
Like a Baptist preacher or something. Like
Yeah, it kind of
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Like really getting that message home.
Die for your sins. Die and burn from your AIDS.
Get him out of here. He's got AIDS.
Like crazy. Yes. AIDS.
James Hetfield.
AIDS. Oh, you want to end on a positive viewer mail? That was pretty positive. I think they.
That was great.
Well, as long as
spread
it's
the
not
message.
an HIV positive.
All right, there he is, folks. I love it. So we were there. Yep, that's right. Recently, we were talking about. Let me see if I can pull this back up here. We were talking about the Australian guy who was on the podium with Tommy Smith and what's the other guy's name?
Bud Dwyer?
No.
He was at a podium once.
I'm trying to pull my notes back up here.
Right, Blake?
He was.
Tommy Smith was one. What's the name of the other guy? Jesus, I can't. Oh, John Carlos. Fist up at the 1968 Summer Olympics. And we were talking about Peter Norman, who's the third guy in that picture. And we're like, boy, that's a weird spot for him. because I think my opinion was, if he had just done it, for lack of a better word, he's invited to the cookout forever.
Right.
A guy who's not even from America, if he had said, you know what, I'm with them, he would have been more famous than they were.
Yeah. I remember we were talking about this the other day. I feel like I've seen a documentary on this, and that principally he was with them.
Very much so.
Okay, good. But I didn't want to just start throwing out shit that I wasn't certain about. So
yeah,
please,
why?
I'm glad you're following this.
I'm glad you wouldn't be so reckless with our media.
I mean, look.
It's a level of integrity, right?
Have you been listening for the hour since you've been here?
No.
Have you seen the name of the show?
Yeah. So a couple different people, sorry about that. A couple different people hit us up about this, but yeah, he was very much on board. He was sympathetic to their protest. He was actually reprimanded by his country, Australia's authorities. He was criticized and ostracized by conservatives in the Australian media. He wore a badge of the Olympic Project for Human Rights on the podium that day.
Right.
He knew they were going to do it and just thought, I don't think I need to have my fist up, but I want to show that I'm with them.
That's right.
And they were pallbearers at his funeral.
Wow.
And he grew up in Salvation Armies. So I think it was maybe either his son or nephew wrote a book. It was he was around a lot of different people who were treated real poorly based on race his whole life. So he was down.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So when he walked into the barber shop, it didn't go silent.
I don't think so.
I love
When
it.
did he die?
Let's see here. I want to say relatively recently, in the last 2006.
Isn't that all we're really looking for, Jake, in life, is to be able to walk into the barber shop and everybody just keeps talking?
Yeah.
And you have the lifetime pass to the barbecue?
Yeah.
I want that.
He had an opportunity at it right there. Yeah, so they named the date of his death, his funeral, I guess, Peter Norman Day. It's one of those things where people in Australia look back at it now and they're like, yeah, we shouldn't have given that guy crap for that. It was actually pretty cool. Now, I don't know whether or not he died from AIDS, but I do know that I wanted to give a more positive ending to this story or this segment than he's got AIDS. Well, thanks for being here. Do you want to give out your email one more time?
Yes, Emily Jones 1977 at yahoo.com is the email.
The auction is that night?
So live auction, which has ridiculous stuff in it.
I'm sure it does. You're very connected.
Experiences. We got a Corey Seager meet and greet with batting practice and tickets. I mean, all kinds of stuff. The live auction is only got to be in person to do it. Silent auction will be lit, as the kids say, as well. And that can be found online, and it drops Friday, the live auction, or the silent auction, my bad. So, yeah, follow me on my social media channels, and I'll post all that stuff straight away.
All right, and listen to the mom game as, in her own words, next week they have some, quote, butt stuff on the run sheet. Thank you, Emily.
Thanks, you guys. Love you. Appreciate you for having me.
We have a mother of one of the girls who's actually works on the broadcasting team tonight. This is Carol from Fort Worth, one of the loudest fans in this section, cheering for the Rangers all game long. And your daughter's working tonight's game. Her name is?
Emily Jones.
Emily is your daughter. Well, congratulations. Here's the bag. And before we let you go, can you give us a little tidbit of information that other people may not know about Emily? What would it be?
She's a great mom. And she keeps a spotless home. Spotless house. And I take care of my grandkids. She let me off for the night.
Oh, that was nice of Emily to let you off tonight to watch the Rangers. All right,
She's never
Carol,
getting tickets again.
she just said you're never getting tickets again.
Just kidding.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
You did good, Mom.
She pays me. She pays me to watch my grandkids.
Okay, there we go.
Which is sad, but true.
There we go. Well, congratulations. Anything else you'd like to say?
No, do you want me
Just say go Rangers or something.
Go Rangers!
All right, we got to get out of here.
Go Rangers!
There we go. Okay, thank you, Carol, Emily's mother. What a great mom, Em.
She is a great mom. She is great. And apparently she's had a couple margaritas. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Em, you are getting yourself in pretty deep now.
You better be careful, Em. She said all nice things. She might have a few things stored up.
Listen, she's got plenty. Don't worry.
Pitch is popped up by Bautista.
You're listening to The Dumb Zone.
Puppet.
Puppet. Wrong.
Puppet. Puppet.
Great work, Blake. I know you
Puppet.
stayed up late on this one.
No puppet.
That almost sounds melodic.
It's fun.
No puppet. No puppet.
You know, this is work you didn't have to do.
All work.
I respect you.
All
It's
work
fun.
is work you have to do. All right, so we're doing like a slightly flip-flop show here, pulling a John Kerry, if you will. It's political season. By the way, what's up with you morons who are like, I'm going to early vote on day one? The line is as long as it is on election day.
I checked my polling station today, and it's got the green light. It's like no wait.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, the one I voted at
mile and a half from
the
my house.
Library Rec Center in Grapevine, and there was a line yesterday that was basically the same as election day. Like, the point of early voting is to not wait in line.
It depends on where you are.
Yeah.
Like in East Dallas, the popular one is by Tennyson. There's a school over there or a rec center or something.
Samuel Grand or something?
Yeah, something like that, and it's packed. But the one that's closest to my neighborhood, which is Pleasant Grove, green light. Ain't nobody waiting.
It was interesting because yesterday I went I do most exercise at home, but our rec, which is super, super cheap for residents and really nice, has a sauna. So I went there yesterday, and I've talked about this before. Anybody who does sauna or steam room knows there's nothing worse than the guy who won't shut up in the sauna. It's just, dude, it's not the time. And due to some computer issues, I'm having to keep my wireless headphones here on all the time during the show. So my headphones died while I was in the sauna. And I'm like, oh, no. I'm like 8 minutes in. And we have a guy in there, a guy he knows comes in. And both have headphones, would have been fine just enjoying their headphones. But as soon as I heard, did you go vote?
Oh, my gosh.
I knew that we were turning the temps up beyond sauna levels.
It's either that or, can you believe this weather we're having?
I'll take that. I don't like it, but I'll take it.
Give me weather talk over anything regarding the election season.
Yeah. And
because even if you agree with me on every single point, I still don't want to talk to you about it.
Nope. Don't want to hear it. Don't want to talk about it. And so they went back and forth, making fun of the libs for a second. And, hey, do you vote on all the issues, or did you just vote at the top there? Because we have like a school district proposition to raise taxes a little bit, and I'm happen to be one of the just unfathomable people who's like, yeah, I'll pay more taxes because things work pretty well in this lily white perfect suburb. Like, we have great services there. You have to pay for those with taxes. They're bitching about that for a second. He's like, yeah, I mean, I saw one that said, do I want to pay more taxes? I think they know the answer to that. And then
they try to rope you in on this conversation, or did they leave you out of it?
No, because I kept my headphones in even after they died.
Just listening to beautiful silence.
But I could hear them.
Yeah.
So next it was, he's like, so you voted for Cruz too? And he's like, oh yeah. He's like, what do you think I'm voting for Colin Allred? He's like, parents over there voting for Colin Allred have already had to install a litter box in their kid's bathroom.
Awesome.
Because the spread like wildfire Facebook rumor, much like the Haitians eating the dogs.
And the cats.
And the cats.
They're eating the dogs.
That there are schools everywhere. I think all schools.
That they're having toilets removed?
Well, some kids identify as cats.
Oh.
So they have to put litter boxes in. This was a very popular midterm.
Okay.
Yeah. So I made it to the number that I wanted, which was 20 minutes. Maybe would have stayed longer. Yeah, but I'm like, I'm out. I can't do it.
Were you tempted at all?
Yeah. Old me might have stepped in a little bit, but not yesterday. All right, so we're going to do some NFL today, and some Cowboys stuff here, and then we'll do the regulars, your news, your today in history. But first, I wanted to turn you guys on to my favorite NFL analyst of this season. He was great when he did Monday Night Football.
Let's see, Troy's
solid. Tom Brady's coming along.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Collinsworth also
good as
also
anybody
good.
now. Yeah, what? Yep.
But this is a new world with new mediums. One of those being TikTok. And sometimes the best mix you can find is taking something from the old, mixing it with something from the new.
Jaws?
It's not Ron Jaworski, Blake.
Dennis Miller.
It's not Dennis Miller. It is Super Bowl winning NFL coach John Gruden on TikTok.
Oh, my God.
And it's the most insane thing you'll ever see from the world of football. Let's play the first one first.
You know, when I was calling plays, I just loved it when our quarterback shredded the defense. I mean, just ripped them. That's what has me feeling really nicey. Like watching Jared Goff go 18 for 18, 292 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Got me feeling nicey.
I couldn't do that pregame warm-up.
He's just staring right, rocking back and forth, bug-eyed.
Ho! Jaden Daniels,
He just
just
runs
a
down
rookie.
top
26 out of
performances.
30, 87%, 231 yards. He rushes for
Got me feeling
47.
nicey.
He's doing everything. Shredded, baby. Ho! C.J. Stroud, 345 yards, brings the Texans back, wins it at the buzzer.
Got me feeling nicey.
Shred him, Stroud. Ho! Baker Mayfield, coming off a tough loss, 345 yards in the hot,
Got me feeling
humid
nicey.
Tampa Bay weather. Heat him up, Mayfield. Keep shredding him, baby. Who? Sam Darnold. Who'd have thought the Vikings would be 4-0? 275 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Got me
Go to
feeling nicey.
Lambeau Field and win again, baby. Keep it rolling, Sam. Shred him.
Oh, my God.
The TikTok channel is called Gruden Loves Football. He's got a T-shirt on that he clearly had made. It says it's got a photo of or a drawing of Chucky, the character from the horror film series that he's always been compared to, and around the Chucky drawing it just says "Got me feeling nicey," which I don't have any.
Mayweather. Heat him up, Mayfield. Keep shredding him, baby. Who?
That is awesome.
It's amazing. It's amazing. It's my favorite TikTok out there.
John Gruden has turned into the fake John Gruden.
Yeah, completely. He's sweating. He's rocking back and forth. His
Crazy
eyes
eyes.
are bugged out.
He's intentionally trying to look like Chucky.
Yeah.
I feel like
It's on TikTok for all of us.
like watching that. I'm like, I feel like I'm watching like the goriest scene in a horror film
Yeah,
through finger filters, just waiting for it to be over.
So he knows that he's not getting another head coaching job,
He's probably damaged goods.
and so he's just trying to monetize.
Yeah, have
That's
fun
great.
with it if
Yeah.
nothing else.
That's cool.
He does it every week.
It could have been worse.
He does it every week.
He's basically reading a fucking box score,
No,
adding music,
No.
and then going, "Huh."
Yeah, but that's important.
What's wrong with that?
Yeah, you're missing the important part. He's got production. Shred him!
He's just rocking back and
I love
forth.
it.
But
That's good stuff right
there's
there.
no real analysis there. He's literally going over the box score,
No.
Jake.
A lot of people can, look at a different piece of artwork and come away with something different. I came away
I guess you're
inspired.
right. You see Mona Lisa.
That's right.
I don't
No,
see Mona Lisa.
that metaphor had a chance.
I
But
couldn't
kind of
think-
died as the boats approached the beach.
Yeah. Yeah. I see wadded up piece of aluminum foil.
There you go.
Yeah.
I would like to get into some Cowboys with you guys.
Oh, we don't have more Gruden?
Shut up. You're a jerk. We have more, but we're gonna wait.
I know you've got 2 clips.
No one else can see the folder.
I heard you talking.
Yeah. So let's see here. What do we want to do next?
Get him out of here! He's got AIDS!
That, of course, means it's time for our Cowboys talk.
Yeah.
Who on the Cowboys has AIDS?
So they had the bye week, but the bye week was not quiet by any means because we had the Jerry fight on the radio, on the fan. We played some of that. We had Micah's out. Is he out this week? We don't know. Now, interestingly enough, like we talked about yesterday, the Cowboys super beat up on defense. The 49ers, I mean, they've got Debo like in the hospital right now. He's so sick. Ayuk ain't coming back. Obviously, McCaffrey's still out. I'm not sure what their offensive line injuries are, but still, dude, they're down big. And if they can put up points on Dallas this week, that is a new low point. A real new low point. So, Jerry, of course, was going to appear on the fan again this morning, so I monitored that. But first, the controversy last week was extended by some comments that Troy Aikman made on the Musers, our friends with the Musers, and this really got people popping to the point where Jerry had to be asked about it. McCarthy was asked about it today. I heard this live, thought it was awesome. Here that is.
I think the routes are terrible. I think they run terrible routes, and I've thought that beyond this year. And I think CeeDee's got to improve in his route running. And as a quarterback, if you're not certain where guys are going to be consistently, it's hard to play the position. And so that's what I see. I see guys lazy coming off the line of scrimmage. Sometimes they run. Usually if they do, it's because they're anticipating they're going to get the football in that play. But if they're not, they don't, and it all ties together. And so I'm not impressed with that part of it. I just finished watching the Baltimore Ravens because I have them this week. You put on a film of theirs and watch their receivers run routes, and they come off the football. And so do San Francisco's and Green Bay's and others. But it's hard to play the position if you're not certain how guys are going to run routes or where they're going to be. And I'm not speaking for Dak. Dak may say, hey, I think everything's amazing. But as a former quarterback watching it, it's got to get a lot better.
So that was a pretty pointed comment and opinion, and I think it meshes pretty well with everything that you see when you watch them, which is, I mean, and we're going to get into this a little bit more, but with the real-time stats that they have now, whether it's through any of the services or next-gen stats, they'll put it up there. I remember them putting it up there in the Baltimore game first, where they would put up the average separation that Lamar Jackson had for his receivers on each throw versus what Dak and his receivers were producing. And the discrepancy was ridiculous. And they are turning in some of the worst numbers in separation. And that's hard to hide from. I mean, that is what it is. And they don't really have a true second wide receiver. Now, is it talent? Is it execution? Or is it play calling? Is it all three? Of course, McCarthy was asked about this. Do I have that pulled up? I swear to God. Let's do Jerry first, actually, because Jerry was asked about this.
Agree with any of what Troy said?
Troy knows football. My goodness, he lives it. When he was here, he's one of the most astute and hardworking people I've ever seen at evaluating tape or looking at how a team is playing. Troy's credible, boy, and should be. And not only that, you can imagine he's not just interested in taking a whack at the Cowboys. He feels as much or more than anybody does about the Cowboys. He's very professional. I think he's very fair. And certainly you can look at what we've been doing. You can look at such things as the separation compared to other teams. That's that analytics that you work with today. But fundamentally, I was talking with Mike, and our players need to work on, when they've got tight coverage, they need to work on pushing on through physical contact, pushing on through it. Now, that's just an example. That's not the only thing.
Okay, so do you think McCarthy loves having Jerry sit down and be like, why can't they just keep running?
Yeah, why can't they get open?
Push through. It's pretty straightforward here, bud. I mean, just keep pushing. So who knows? But
I feel like that's not a good answer either.
Well, he didn't. The question was, do you agree with him? And I think he kind of said he does, because he gave Troy a lot of validity and said that he's credible. Yeah, I mean, if Troy says it, the subtext is if Troy said it, it's probably true.
Yeah.
He works hard and looks at this stuff. He's not just, spewing something out off the top of his head. He's done the research.
He quoted the numbers.
Without him saying, yeah, I agree with him. That's what I'm seeing too. Or, yes, he's right.
Pretty much the only thing he did was say, actually, that's a problem, and it's one of many. He kind of was like, that's not the only thing. But he did not say, hey, this is not a problem.
He also said that he's addressed it with Mike.
Yeah. You think he loves
And I wonder if this was a unique thought of Jerry's when he addressed this with Mike, or if when he went to talk with Mike, he said, hey, you hear what Troy said?
That's also possible.
That's a bunch of bullshit if that's true.
That is also possible.
That sounds more realistic to me, because honestly, who is Jerry going to trust more about football right now, today? Troy Aikman or Mike McCarthy?
No.
It's not even a debate. So, yeah, I could realistically see him going in there and saying, you heard Troy on the ticket this morning? Have you looked at this shit? Yeah.
How frustrating for McCarthy.
Oh, he can't wait to get out of here.
Just first of all, that you have to deal with the owner. The owner's coming to talk to you.
Yeah.
And then secondly, your owner heard something on the radio that he's asking you about.
Yeah.
And I'm just speculating, but it just seems
it's very plausible.
Seems plausible. Yeah.
I think this is McCarthy.
The other side, following up on that, you talk about all that emotionally, especially coming off a loss like you had, when you start to hear the criticism that's just naturally going to build outside the building, even having Troy Aikman and his comments. Do you feel the need to address those with the players at any point?
I don't. I think you address them as a whole because it's all part of that external focus that, frankly, we need to move away from, frankly. I mean, if anything, working here, the intensity of externals and potential distractions is high. That's part of our part of our operation. Green Bay was cold. I mean, everybody has something, that you.
Yeah.
Whoa. What? Green Bay, we had to deal with the weather, man.
Yeah.
Down here, it's media.
It's Jerry.
I love how he's
trying real hard.
Well, he folds Troy Aikman into the same batch of reporters now as the blogger that's blogging about the Cowboys. So Troy's just as much a distraction as the people that are just absolutely shredding them online or on podcasts or whatever. It's all the same.
Yeah, and it's also funny because he's, as you say, he's grouping those two together. He's also grouping something that's entirely within the control of the organization, which is what Jerry says, when he says it, and who he says it to, with God, because the weather you can't do anything about. That's when you can't really just be like, hey, could you not do this interview this week where you say it's going to rain?
Yeah, I mean, at least with weather, you have a forecast and you know it's coming.
That's a good point.
What's the perfect
Here comes
answer?
the Jerry tornado.
Yeah.
Fighting with
That's a good point.
What's the perfect answer, though? Mickey asks him that question.
David.
What? I'm sorry, that was David Moore.
Mickey ain't asking that.
No, he's not.
He works for the team.
That's true.
Well, how do you feel
My
about
bad.
Zach Martin?
Yeah. What answer would have served him better than that one, though? Because if he gives credibility to Troy, it makes him look like shit.
Yeah. Well, he's got a little bit more here because I actually think he pulls it out of the ditch okay.
Other places you work, so that's part of our norm. The external noise or pro or con, it's we prefer the pro, but it's part of working here and it's part of our landscape. So yeah, for me to address those comments, I don't, because they don't carry any weight with me, because I watch all the tape. I get to go to the meetings. I'm at practice. I'm part of the games, so I have a clear understanding of what and where. And in Troy's statement, particularly, I don't agree with the word selection, but there is definitely need for improvement in every position. Not just one position that he commented on. So I think you look at the whole picture. You break it down, and that's what coaches do. And there's a process to it. There's always a plan. These guys bring great energy. That their work ethic is high. If GPS is a good monitor. Gives you an idea of your workload capacity. Going back to what I said earlier, the 22 and 23 comparables from a workload capacity, the GPS is higher than the prior two teams, so that tells you that, the effort and energy is there. But
okay, so I'm glad he brought the GPS up because much like with the average separation, it's very hard to hide in pro sports now because there's so much data. All of them can be correct. Jerry is correct in pointing out, we got these sensors on us now that show that we're not getting any separation at all. That is actually happening on the field in a game. In practice, McCarthy can look at the GPS and tell, these guys are busting their ass in practice. Like, they're running hard routes against air and against, one-on-ones. They're getting in more reps than in the same amount of time than his last two teams did. That can also be true. But if that results in not being able to get open, then only one of a couple things can be true. Either the scheme is too outdated and sucks because your players are practicing super hard and still not getting open.
Or you're lacking talent.
So, or somehow you're just coaching them poorly to do it in a game. But in a weird way, they both sort of just admitted that there's a major problem, and it's either the players that Jerry selected or McCarthy's coaching because they both now have hard data to back it up. Mm-hmm. McCarthy's like, my guys are busting their ass in practice. And Jerry's like, cool. Well, they're not getting open, and now we have this chart that says they're not getting open. So is it your place? And McCarthy's like, well, is it that Jalen Tolbert's at best a 3, maybe, at some point in his career? So I thought that was interesting that they both weighed in on it, and they're like, we kind of got the numbers here. Let's figure out who's at fault.
I do like the dig at Troy there where he he runs down his day of, well, I'm watching the film, I'm in the meetings, I'm at practice, and this guy is watching film of 3 games ago.
Yeah.
And it's funny.
That was intentional.
You don't have to tell me what my team's problems are. You got a little defensive there, which I like.
Speaking of defensive, I have a little bit more from Jerry's interview with the fan this morning, just because some of it's funny.
Let me ask you this before you play this. What were your expectations of him going back on the air, having a week go by of reflecting on what that moment meant, if anything, to him and the fallout that happened as a result of it with public opinion on Jerry? Do you think did you have any expectations of how he would manage that interview before he did it? And if so, what were they?
My expectations were exactly what would happen, which is that he would be like, I can't believe that got as much play as it did.
We're all black friends.
Which he 100% knew it would.
Yeah.
And also that he likes being on the radio. He actually likes those guys because I've listened to it a bunch.
Mm-hmm. And they've been doing this for how long together?
Maybe 15 years
I think
or
he
something.
said 15 years?
Yeah. So to me, I expected him to come on and both be like, I respect you, you respect me. I did not think it was going to bleed over.
Did you think it would have been did you expect an apology or any contrition at all from Jerry?
No, I don't think that's his game. But just more of you guys are great partners, and I didn't expect, and I wouldn't have if I were them, like a demanding of an apology. Mm-hmm. Just kind of try to ask good questions, which I think that they did. But I thought this first one here was kind of interesting, just Jerry rambling about why they do interviews.
Really, when I think about what we try to do on this show, for me, is I think we give you 2 shots a week that I get on, and Steven gets on once or twice, and Mike, I don't know if Mike gets on or not, but
okay, let me take a 20 there. I think it's weird for any NFL GM to not know if his head coach is doing a weekly interview on a show.
He's not, though, is he?
I don't think he does anymore. He used to, but if he is, Jerry should know about that. That the GM should know what every player is doing in their media availabilities. The coach doesn't even have to know, but the GM needs to know, like, hey, Micah's got a podcast, and have that conversation. That's just, it's funny to me.
Those are really a privilege. It's kind of like pillow talk. You get some inside stuff. As you know, I don't go before the normal press conferences during the week usually.
Yeah, most of them don't. That's nothing special, dude. Most GMs don't have a weekly press availability. Like, you do it in the locker room and twice a week. You're doing 3 more than most GMs every week.
Yeah.
And so this is the kind of thing that I would expect and how I would answer it relative to many of your questions.
Don't know what that means, but I'm going to fast forward a little bit here.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I really don't know why I did.
Okay, yeah, here we go.
The same kind of question is one that my wife might ask me of 60-something years, why did you do that?
Yeah.
And I said, well, I really don't know why I did that. The devil made me do it. And so my point is, those kinds of questions are pointedly toward putting you on a spot to make a certain kind of answer.
Yeah.
I've obviously been asked that Derrick Henry question almost every day since we started training camp. And so that's a get in your ass type of question.
Yeah.
Boy, I love it. He blamed them.
Yeah, he's like, I know what you're doing. He's like, obviously, I get asked stuff like that by my wife all the time. Why did you do that?
Well, it's because you put me in that position.
Yeah. He's like, well, the
ambiguity. I wonder what that is when his wife asks that question.
Oh,
it sure ain't about football.
It's not about Derrick Henry or
Strippers
Amari
again,
Cooper.
Jerry.
Well, speaking of Derrick Henry, this is long, so I'm not going to play all of it. It's a couple minutes, but he tries to alibi for why Derrick Henry's not here, and I don't know that it really finds any purchase.
And it's beyond whether or not we have Derrick Henry or not. Derrick Henry is having a career year. I don't know if he'd be having that career year in our situation.
Makes you wonder.
And that's really something you really do have to look at.
It'd be fun to see.
Because if he had not had as many carries as our running backs have had, then he certainly probably wouldn't have attained the level of impact he's having.
All right, there's more, but
Can I do the translation this time?
yeah.
Jerry's saying, well, our defense still sucks.
Yeah, our defense still sucks. And I might ask him, like, don't you think you'd be running the ball more if you were running it effectively?
Well, we'd still be losing.
Yeah, but it's a funny way to be like, I mean, we might as well just piss away these plays by handing it to Zeke because, I mean, he's there.
We can't say that Derrick would, be having the season he's having if he were here. Have you seen our fucking O-line?
Yeah, in every case, he's like, that would not be better because something else would be worse.
Right.
And then he's a real good complement to the type of offense they run. We don't run that type of offense at all.
We can't.
You couldn't have figured it out.
Running the football.
Derrick Henry. We're not asking you to use a gadget player. We're asking you to put a mountain man who just takes the ball and runs people over.
Also, the first 2 weeks of the season, he got off to a slow start, and they were saying it's because he is learning the Ravens scheme.
Yeah,
it took
could he
him
learn
3
another
weeks.
one? Yeah.
Go
ahead.
My argument was Derrick Henry with a shit offensive line is still going to get 3 yards.
Yeah.
Maybe 4 on his own.
Yep.
And that's what we have. And wouldn't you like to be, I don't know, 2nd and 6 or 2nd and 5 rather than watching our guys just look like they're running into a cement wall and falling down like a squashed mosquito?
Yes. And the other thing about Derrick Henry is for a guy his size, it's really crazy how much big play potential he has.
Exactly.
And neither of the Cowboys backs. Dowdle has a little juice, but nobody that's going to – I mean, he's a reliable down in, down out. He's not a guy who's going to – you think he's going to break –
This Dowdle love that I feel from – I don't know. I've heard it all around.
He's better than Zeke.
He's better than Zeke, but come on. I think we're just so – the bar is so low on our running game that people are saying that Dowdle's got something. That dude is maybe a change-up back on a halfway decent team.
Yeah.
He's not an answer to anything. He is a third-string running back on 70% of the offenses in this league.
I think he's your base, replacement player.
Yeah.
Like, that's your base. He's not going to do anything special. He's good, when you give him space. But, yeah, he's just –
There's nothing interesting
just
about
your
him
guy.
at all. Yeah, he's a dude.
A little more.
Our situation is more about, frankly, it's more about holding your blocks.
Oh.
It's more about not making mistakes. Mm-hmm. It's more about, in my mind, the receivers running through a tough man-to-man coverage and running on through it.
Mm-hmm.
And, if you will, get away from that. The types of things that we all...
The Lions and the Vikings, they don't hold their blocks. They make a lot of mistakes. The Cowboy scheme is a little bit different.
Yeah.
Okay? We do things differently around here. We hold our blocks. Jeez.
And then the last one here, I thought this was funny. It came from our friend Jared Sandler, who was filling in on the Fan this morning. And I'm glad he asked this question because he phrased it in a way where Jerry kind of had to answer about Amari Cooper. Again, his last name is Cooper.
When we traded Amari Cooper, we saved
Cooper.
He always does Cooper.
When we traded Amari Cooper, we saved almost $20 million for our cap and in the future. We took a lesser draft pick to get that savings. When he made this move the other day, Cleveland went for more draft pick and less savings. It was very simple.
Silence, silence, silence.
Jerry, when you look at
they're like, is that all he has? Like a 15-second answer.
So you took cash over, I don't know, maybe some assets to your personnel.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
sure.
the idea is that
Tells me
hey,
a
well,
lot.
if you saved all the money, then shouldn't you be signing players?
Hello,
What'd
like
you do with
Derrick
it?
Henry.
Right. That's the
Derrick
problem.
Henry.
That's the problem is that, but what he says is we saved all that money, and he brought it up in the fan interview too and says, like, so we were able to sign Dak and CD. It's like, well, you could have done that. You just could have done it earlier. And if you had done it earlier, you would have had the cap space to sign players, and round we go.
It's a vicious cycle, Jake, and it always ends at one's destination. And we've been having this blessed argument for almost 30 years. It makes me laugh when I hear the young guys over at the Fan that are guys that are podcasting about the Cowboys. What's the one star with KT? It's really good.
It's Saad and John.
But they're 29 and they're like, man, they're still making the same argument that we were making at the ticket in 1997 of everything falls back to Jerry is the general manager of this team. And when you know that's where the argument goes, when you've been doing this as long as I have and kind of maybe as Jake has, he's seen it go this way too for 20 years. You just get to a point where it's like, can we just talk about the Mavs?
Yeah.
I mean, this is a pointless conversation. It really is.
Well,
but it's the Cowboys.
It's not a football team anymore. It's a business.
Yeah.
It's an entertainment business, and Jerry is
He
actually
saved-
very good at it.
Yeah, and he saved $20 million.
Yeah, sweet. Well, McCarthy was talking about external. Under the file of external, it's probably one of his best players hosting a podcast.
Sure. Got it for the brand, for the Micah brand.
So we've got some audio here from the Micah podcast. And Jake, you and I were wondering, I wonder if Micah would do an episode on a bye week. Maybe you take that week off, or I don't know. No, he did a podcast. And he also tells us what he did on his bye week.
It was the Cowboys bye week. Y'all already know. Time off. Family, friends. Oh, man, it was a great weekend. I got the chance to go down to F1, experience that for the first time.
Austin. Yeah.
Okay. Neat.
He is injured.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to an F1 race.
No, yeah, but the good news is it's like an upper body injury.
Nope.
So,
Nope. Walking around in crowds with a bum ankle.
Mm-hmm.
We're turning into such old men.
But yeah, cool. You went to a race.
And I would say F1 was mind-blowing. I just couldn't believe some of the information that I got about F1, how it happens. How
Is
to
he selling you on
participate.
F1?
But the coolest thing I think I saw about F1.
Any guesses?
The coolest thing he saw about F1.
Yeah.
Celebrities.
Was how neat and how cool the cars are. They made the cars so cool.
I mean, sure.
Yeah, that's the whole shebang there.
These cars are pretty sweet.
That was the number.
You think you were gonna
the first thing they came up with.
And in his mind, they were trying to soup up like Studebakers.
The cars are neat and cool.
It's like my
Hey, y'all know they go pretty fast.
I mean, I think
2-year-old.
Yeah, my 3.5-year-old could come up with a more observant point.
I mean, it's
about
what
his
you could
first
say, like, those
F1.
cars are super cool.
Yeah.
But to say, like, the thing that impressed me or that surprised me
Right,
or that
right.
I was the most,
My
that's
main
just
takeaway.
Yeah.
The cars.
pretty cool, man.
This is pretty interesting. He was apparently he was at the Texas and Georgia game.
Yeah, I figured.
He talked about the student section throwing stuff on the field. His point was, hey, maybe Penn State needs to throw stuff on the field. Let's get some calls overturned.
I'm not mad at that. That's just Micah.
Yeah.
We forget that these men that are playing this gladiator game they're all kids.
Yeah.
They're just
don't have to grow up.
Well, speaking of, he was asked if the student section was to do something like that, would he cover the cost of the fine? Because Texas got fined
$250K, and they were given like a pretty stern warning of like next time it ain't just going to be another fine. It'll be something big.
And I think they've identified some people.
Yeah.
And have revoked their season ticket.
I don't know if that's real or not, but
Yeah,
I did
guess
see.
Who can tell anymore online? Anyway, he answers, if Penn State were to get fined like that, would he pay?
If Penn State got fined for fans throwing stuff on the field, would you pay the fine? No, I would not. No, I would not.
His reason is funny.
The university parking, how much they used to get me for? I promise you that Penn State's parking makes more money than I do. I didn't get my degree until a year later when I had to pay off my parking tickets. People don't know. They hold your degree until, because, even when you walk, and I graduated during COVID, so we didn't have a, graduation, but you don't get your actual diploma when you walk the stage. I didn't get my degree until after my rookie year. I was like, I got to hurry up and pay these fines now.
That's awesome.
That is funny.
That's awesome. He's still getting like the red envelope from NTTA every month. It's like, yeah, you got to balance here, Micah Parsons.
And then it comes from a collection agency willing to settle for a lesser cost.
Oh, man.
He went on about the Troy thing. His answer to the Troy situation about calling the receivers out was, well, Troy needs to talk to the receivers in person.
Yeah, and that's obviously, in an ideal world, sure, but that's because he doesn't understand that Troy is not saying that in the role of Cowboy fan. He is an analyst. He's being paid to give opinions about any and every team he's asked about. And just because he played for the Cowboys and he's really good friends with the family.
And a fan.
He's going to give his opinion, though. And he's going to call it like he sees it. So what? Troy, but yeah, I'm sure Mike McCarthy would have loved that. Hey, big man, let me hop in here real quick.
Yeah, let me show him how to do it.
What does he think? How does he think that's going to work?
But he was saying that when DeMarcus Ware texts him, he listens. He's a former player that's done it. So if Troy Aikman would come around, maybe these receivers would listen to him. This is, speaking of we're old men, I'm definitely falling victim to that because I was shocked when I heard this. Micah was talking about Saquon, his revenge game against the Giants. And when you take a step back, I can't believe an NFL player is talking about another GM like this.
I want to give a moment to actually laugh at the New York Giants' GMs. Not only did they make the NFC East hard as hell, allowing Saquon to leave, because we all love when Saquon was at the Giants. No offense to Saquon Barkley. I want to look at point fingers at the GM. Did you not all see the same video of Hard Knocks when they said, we don't know if we want to give him this money? Now you see exactly why you give Saquon his money. This is the most outright outrageous thing that I've ever seen in my life. The fan base has to believe, you can't believe a man. It's not like y'all allowed Saquon to hit free agency. Y'all allowed the Eagles to offer him something. Y'all could have signed him during the season or the year before that. The Giants were playing around with this man's money.
He's foreshadowing.
Not allowing him to feed his family. I get he was a top pick, whatever, but y'all allowed him to walk free. It is not his fault. Blame the management. He still gave y'all a chance. He still give y'all a chance. He believed blood and loyalty, y'all. Y'all still let him walk away. You almost have to laugh at them. And then, I'm so glad he had that game because he damn near shitted on their turf all over again. That's exactly what you get. That is what the Giants GM deserve. And why don't you blame your GMs for how you guys drafted?
That's awesome.
Message sent.
It's really funny, but to Blake's point about how it's an active current player talking about another GM, he's potentially going to have to take a meeting with that guy at some point. Maybe the Giants are interested, or Joe Sheen ends up at another place. And he's the Panthers GM or something, and Micah comes in and he's like, "Oh yeah, you're the guy who said that I deserve what I got, huh?" It's just funny. That's a very new thing.
Yeah.
Well,
typically you're trying to keep as many bridges unburnt.
Yeah, and he's just Blame the GM. He sucks.
Damn near shit all over y'all's field.
Shitted.
Two last things. This is funny because he's rapid fire, man.
Yeah. We've said before, watching Micah, it's almost like watching PTI. Trump is the same way. Just put a thing over on the side, a scroll of like, ring a bell, and
Keep
now
up
he's
with
going
the
over here.
topics.
Just like OJ does on his Twitter. Yeah,
Or
fantasy
did.
football into debates.
Yeah, and so just listening on 2x speed, it's just like, I thought you were talking about this. So he's talking about NFL, and then just transitions into something else immediately.
It's terrible something like this could happen.
And this was funny because he's previewing the Cowboys 49ers game. So from a defense perspective, hey, they're missing Ayuk, they're missing Debo. So he's breaking that down.
It's terrible something like this could happen. You don't make a Super Bowl without Ayuk. Now, we haven't seen much of Rick, but, Ayuk's an all-pro. So, it really sucks. Who you got in the World Series, Dodgers or Yankees?
Yeah, it really sucks. Ayuk's going down. Hey, Dodgers in the World Series.
Who you got?
I think
I love it.
See if you can follow his logic here, though.
It really sucks. Who you got in the World Series, Dodgers or Yankees? I'm gonna put it like this: if you look at football comparison, I think the Yankees are like Cowboys of baseball. So I'm going with the Yankees.
Shouldn't you go the Dodgers?
Yeah, because if you're the Cowboys of baseball,
you don't win.
You're wondering how the fuck did we get in the World Series?
Yeah.
A lot of things went our way. I think he's reading.
He is.
He's reading mail, so it
He
doesn't
is.
sound like that big of
But he was just doing
juxtaposed.
Cowboys 49ers preview.
And injuries. Like, it's sad. This is a tough scene for
Or he's reading
fellow
comments or
brother
something.
in the Shield. Who you got in the World Series?
Same thing. Same thing here.
Dan Quinn's a great coach. As you can see, he left Dallas, went over there. They have one of the more winning records.
More winning.
I think they will be okay. What should Juan Soto's price tag be since you're talking about baseball? I'm going to say Juan, he needs to be around $600-700 million.
So now he's a baseball salaries expert?
I promise you he reads about every athlete's salary. You know he's obsessed with it.
He's just waiting.
Yeah, and the Soto thing is a big deal right now. I'm not surprised by that at all. That's good stuff. Hey,
Yeah,
fun Cowboys week with no game.
There's the external for you.
Here's Jake.
Remember, Sunday night stream.
Zone News.
All right, let's flip back over to the news tab here. This is an interesting one. The other day, we played a fight from the State Fair on the final night. There were a couple of other injuries at the State Fair. One of them has resulted in a lawsuit. 17-year-old Ian Macaria and his family have filed a lawsuit after the teen was knocked out by a frightened police horse at the State Fair.
No.
An officer spilled a drink, which frightened the horse. And I remember seeing video of this, not of the actual impact, but of people rushing to him on the ground. And the horse is just kind of standing there like, did I do that?
Whoops.
The lawsuit says the officer was negligent in his use of the saddle, tack, and controls of the horse. Suit says having mounted officers at the fair was, quote, unreasonably dangerous.
If you're picking a horse to be on at the fair, don't you think you'd pick one that's not spooked by a drink?
A lot of drinks. I would also add that it says that there was an officer, the horse cop, he was on the horse. It was a mounted officer, and the horse was startled when the drink spilled. So I think if you're going to ride the horse and be horse cop, we have to do a no beverages allowed rule. Like, I don't think you can have your...
No food or drink on horse.
No drinking and riding.
No, I don't think so. I don't think you can have, Dr. Thunder up there at the fair. Where you spill it, the horse freaks out, he kicks a 17-year-old in the head. However, I will tell you this. If you guaranteed me no brain damage, so the pain can be any amount that you want, I would let a horse kick me in the head for $5 million.
What if it cracks your skull?
Don't care.
And you die?
So I can't die and I can't have permanent cognitive, but it can fuck me up. Like, it can put me to where, like, I have to do like a year of recovery and therapy.
You do it for $5 million?
Yeah.
All right.
Jake just wants to go back to therapy.
Yeah, I think you enjoyed the time away.
Yeah, I think, I loved it. And if you think I'm out now, bud, not how it works.
Okay, let me ask you this. Would you, if you had to choose one or the other, you have to do, what'd you do, 27 days?
Yeah.
27 days of therapy. You got to do it again, or rehab, just like you did. You got to do the whole thing, the whole process. Maybe some of the events that occurred are a little bit different, but, largely it's the same. Or 27 days in a coma where you're just knocked out and you miss an entire month of your life, but you don't have to do shit. You just go to sleep and then you wake up. It's like, God bless, I was in a coma.
Yeah, I'll
go get caught up on.
I would go Hab
McAfee.
Hab part. Yeah, I've missed so much McAfee. AJ Hawk and Aaron Rodgers.
What would you do?
Hab part 2. I'd go back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you could even say that it would be worse, and I would still take that.
But just sleeping for 27 days?
Yeah, I don't think you're like in REM. I don't think it's like you wake up, 100% recovery score.
Your body battery's at 110?
No, I get what you're saying. There's an appeal to just kind of taking a month off on all fronts. Yeah.
Maybe the Cowboys are 3-3.
Yeah.
What happened?
Maybe don't stand behind a horse.
Dude, they're at the fair. The horse is out.
I'm not walking behind a horse no matter where I am.
Okay.
There's no warning to tell you not to. I mean, those guys, look, horse. I don't care how trained an animal is. They're still animals, and they can be unpredictable. I've always wondered how that doesn't happen more often. Just losing control of an animal when they're in such close proximity to large groups of people.
I mean, even when Brooks was painting the pony.
I stay away from them.
Peyton or Peyton?
Painting the pony.
Thank you, Rob.
You take him the long way around.
Thank you, Rob.
You don't walk behind a horse.
That commercial is in my I might need a gun.
Which one?
Yeah, you said your son was painting a horse. Or painting a horse. Which one is it?
Is it petting or painting?
You've not seen the Peyton Manning painting commercial?
Okay, that one? Sure. You have another story?
You don't have to do it.
The Dumb Zone News.
The city of Arlington has announced that it'll be providing free doses of naloxone to hotels, motels, and bars. You know what that's for?
Naloxone?
Yeah. That Finny.
No, I don't. Is that what they inject into your heart?
Kind of, but it's a nasal spray.
Oh, for ODs?
Narcan. It's I think it's the same thing. Yeah. And I actually, for some strange reason, when you check out of the place I went, everyone gets some.
Really?
Yeah. And I'm like, I've never really been around that. And they're like, yeah, but you could be. That's how bad that is, dude. Like the overdose rate.
Is it for like fentanyl, heroin, all that stuff?
Opioid, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how it works with heroin. I would imagine so. Probably have to do more.
And
actually, that's probably not true.
And it's supposed to revive you?
Yeah. You can buy it at like CVS now, over the counter.
Really?
And I don't know if they have this in Dallas, but I know in Austin, for example, they have what basically look like vending machines where it's free. You just got to get it in somebody's nose, one pump each nostril, and they come back.
What happens if you're just normal and you want to do it and see what happens? Nothing?
No, there was one class per week with the lady who was like the head nurse. And it was actually really interesting. I don't remember us talking about alcohol at all because there were a lot of different people in there and a lot of different stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And the class, we did one where we watched like a Nova documentary on fentanyl, which is like they went PBS or whatever correspondents went into the cartel, put on masks and stuff, and they showed how fentanyl is made in Mexico, and it's extremely dangerous because if they have to position the cook, it's outside. They have to position where they're doing the cook in accordance of the wind, because if you're standing near it and the wind is blowing towards you, you'll die.
Just breathing in the vapors?
The vapors and fumes are that strong. And it's not like they have a union. So, UTA, or excuse me.
Do they get vision and dental?
Don't know.
For making fentanyl?
High copays, though.
Yeah.
High copays. But in Arlington, yeah, they're giving them away. Tarrant County reported a 22% increase in fentanyl deaths, 21 to 22. Yeah, it's. I do think it's actually getting a little bit better this year, now that people understand it a little bit more. But
is it so lethal because the amount of a dose that can take you out is so tiny?
Man, there was a dad in this documentary, and he had lost his daughter, and he did the bit of he's sitting at a table, and he's like, he has like a mason jar, and he's like, this is how much heroin it would take to have an overdose at one time, and he's like, this is how much OxyContin it would take to have an overdose at one time. It's a little bit less, and then he sits on the body. He's like, this is how much fentanyl it would take to kill you. And it's like a speck of sand. You couldn't see it.
Wow.
That's how small it was. But obviously there's people like, I knew people there that had been taking 10 of them, 15 of them a day, and it's just a matter of, it could be any time. You just end up with the wrong one, or your body reacts differently, and you just die. Like, you could die the first time.
Why do they they prescribe this stuff too? You can
they gave Carter fentanyl when he had his skull surgery, and it was right during like right after political season. And I remember, again, my jokes don't always land on these things. The doctor was like, yeah, we're gonna give him fentanyl. I was like, rainbow, because that's what I'd heard Greg Abbott talk about, and the guy was like, what?
No, this is serious, sir.
I was like, oh, I've been doing like jokes about rainbow fentanyl at work. He's like, I'm gonna cut your son's head open.
Yeah, I have a podcast.
Where's the jokes now?
I'm funny on the internet.
Interesting story from Louisville, and then we'll wrap it up, Blake, and get the fuck out of your way. A North Texas man.
What did he do?
Had harbored an obsession.
He made a lame joke that we all were supposed to erupt in laughter over, and now I'm the bad guy because I didn't get it.
Well, somebody's got to take it in the shorts.
This guy, 51-year-old Travis Merrill, he, I think, thought he had a work wife, and she wasn't feeling it. They worked at Allegiance Trucking in Louisville, and he was arrested 5 days ago in the fatal shooting of this woman. He ambushed her at her cubicle and shot her multiple times. Yeah.
She was at work?
Yeah, they worked together. Merrill confessed to the shooting, telling police he was, quote, obsessed with her and became increasingly angry over what he considered to be, quote, unauthorized long breaks and her not paying attention to him.
Oh, my.
Oh, no.
I don't know why I'm laughing.
Oh, my God. So this woman adheres to her boundaries and is probably pretty clear to this guy that she doesn't want to see him. And he just twists off and kills her at her desk?
Yeah. So in the affidavit, it says that the dude's behavior had been going on for a while.
You know who doesn't do that? Women. If you're not interested in a woman, you know what she does? She goes to the next swinging dick.
Yeah. One cubicle over.
One cubicle over.
Right.
She drinks some wine and talks about you
Yeah.
on your back.
Man, let's
hop in the group chat.
Makes fun of you. Post on Facebook.
They get over that type of stuff in an instant.
Oh, they don't need you.
No, they don't.
No. So she had reported his behavior to her superiors. She expressed that she didn't want him watching her when she took her breaks. He told detectives that he was required to speak with a counselor on the phone before he could return to work. When he returned, he told detectives he could tell,
Stop
quote,
laughing at this.
He's looking at his picture.
When
he can't. Look at him.
No.
When he returned, he told detectives he could tell, quote, everyone must think I'm a psychopath.
Well.
And that she was avoiding him. Again, rightfully so. That fueled his anger, so he started to purchase guns. Now, tell me how taxi driver this is. He allegedly said he bought guns and, quote, practiced his movements with them. So he's doing the...
In front of the mirror?
Yeah.
Yeah. That poor lady. Went through all the proper channels.
Mm-hmm.
Was probably very clear with him.
Yeah.
And he just couldn't take no for an answer.
Really weird note here. The day before the shooting, he allegedly brought the guns to the work, but said, quote, it didn't feel like the right time. You just what? Your horoscope was off that day, or what do you...
You had gas?
There was a right time?
Yeah,
I mean,
not
it's horrible.
Not on Casual Friday.
Yeah.
Hawaiian shirt Friday, and...
It's no good. Anyways, there's your news.
That was sad.
The Dumb Zone News.
I had a good time.
Like and subscribe.
I'm sorry. There's a decent chance we know someone who knows this person.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Today in history.
And Danny's right. She did nothing wrong.
Pull us out of the ditch, Blake.
Yeah, what did Hitler do today?
What did Hitler do today?
I thought you had this.
We could rename the segment that. With Dan's
Is
breath.
there a Hitler story in every Today in History?
There seemed to be a lot.
Yeah.
Like he it could be anything. Like he opened a new beer hall, cut the ribbon.
I've got all the stories here, Blake, but my computer's acting
I'll
up.
do it. I got
Thanks,
it.
man.
Yep.
Thank you.
Today is Tuesday, October 22nd, the 296th day of 2024. There are just 70 days left in the year. In 1836, Sam Houston, the first elected president of the Republic of Texas.
Wasn't born here, but got here as fast as he could. No, he was. It was Davy Crockett, right? Davy Crockett's a Tennessee. Sam Houston, Virginia. Yeah, of course. 1793, there was no Texas here.
In 1997, New York Ranger Wayne Gretzky's wife, Janet, is knocked unconscious and gets 2 stitches while watching the game as a plexiglass falls on her.
You know what he did?
Your note?
I
kept playing.
He kept playing.
Yeah, bet your ass he
And
kept
later,
playing.
she would be the target of an FBI sting.
He ain't the great one because he rode in the back of the ambulance to the hospital
No,
with her.
absolutely not. Absolutely not. She later would be the target of an FBI sting into illegal gambling.
That's
that
right.
She was a part of with Rick Tocchet. And in a stroke of genius, the FBI named that operation Operation Slapshot.
Of course.
That's my dream job.
I think, I was about to say that.
To get to name CIA and ATF
Operations.
FBI operations.
Love it.
In 2010, the Texas Rangers clinched their first pennant with a 6-1 victory over the defending World Series champion New York Yankees in Game 6 of
Were you there?
ALCS.
I wasn't there, but I was watching it at home and openly wept.
That's awesome.
And I felt more, I don't know why, but I felt more exhilaration from that one moment than I did in the Rangers winning the World Series last year.
Oh, I could see that. That team we were very close to that team.
Yeah, that was a fun team. He struck out A-Rod.
We'd never been there before.
Yeah.
Took down the Yankees.
Yeah, it was that moment was my favorite, one of my favorite sports moments. I can't believe it's more so than them winning the World Series. But I had no real connection to that team last year.
Yeah.
Couldn't watch them on TV. That's for damn sure. Because of Bally's.
Yeah, we need to finish with that, by the way. I got to give you guys some updates.
Okay.
Yeah. We were going to talk more Mavs, but then Emily was killing it, so we kind of bumped Mavs. But I do want to do the streaming thing.
Can't stop good Emily. In 2012, cyclist Lance Armstrong was formally stripped of his 7 Tour de France victories and received a lifetime ban from Olympic sports.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm beaten by that whole story. However, I do think it's funny that his career now, or whatever, his persona is, he weighs in on issues in the sports world. And he's like real mad about transgender folk in sports. It's like, you know what? We're going to hear from a lot of people today, Lance, but you're not going to be one of them. Not you.
And then in 2020, Macy's said Santa Claus would not be greeting kids at its flagship New York store due to the coronavirus, interrupting a holiday tradition started nearly 160 years ago. Woke.
Mm-hmm.
Weddings on this date in 2001, tennis power couple Andre Agassi.
Yeah, I believe it's Agassi still.
And Steffi Graf were married in a private ceremony by a Las Vegas judge.
You guys should start. You should start calling me Andre.
Oh yeah.
Your rehab nickname?
Yeah, it's one of them.
No, I'm gonna call you Sports Spice.
That's fine.
I'm just going to call you Tennis.
That works too.
Yeah.
Gringo.
You can't do it in that voice, though.
Dennis.
Tennis. That's right.
Birthdays today. Hugh Jackson is 59. Ichiro Suzuki's 51.
Maybe the GOAT. Just overall pound for pound.
He's 51. Didn't he retire like last year or something? When did he retire? Was he 46 or 47?
Yeah, he played. Yeah, he played like 28 pro seasons.
Yeah.
It doesn't compute with me that him and Ohtani played at the same time.
That's weird.
But all he does is slap hit. He's
That's
not a
right.
real hitter.
Right.
Look at
Try
him.
to sneak up on you.
Look at him just poke it over there.
Dude, Tom Grieve, and I used to love this.
Yeah.
Grieve and Busby fucking hated him. Like, never.
The way he played? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like, he'd put the ball wherever he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And he'd just poke one over third, just kind of lazily, or like a little sharp drop in. Like he was bending hits like he was a soccer player taking penalty kicks. And they're like, I mean, I guess if that's a hit. They were just not my style. You know, I'm like, all right, dude, just say he's Japanese. We know. You guys grew up in a different time.
Yeah.
Robinson Cano is 42. Ron Tugnut is 57.
Just could not get enough of that name as a young hockey fan.
Jamie Quirk is 70. Dan's note here is look at his stats for 1984 Cleveland Indians, and I'm just going to politely decline. Brad Stevens is 48.
That's still a crazy story. I was watching the
Is that the guy that looks like Buttigieg?
Kinda, yeah. I was watching that ESPN show Clutch on the playoffs this morning, the last episode. They just kind of go back through what happened with Brad Stevens, and it's really weird, man. To just be like really young and also thought of as one of the best, if not the best, coach in the league, X's and O's wise, and just get burnt out and say you want to be the GM now. I don't know that that's ever happened. He's like, yeah, it was pretty easy to become the GM because I know what we needed and what we didn't have and what sucked. And so I just took that part over. And he's still probably mid-40s.
Yeah.
How old is he?
Gotta be, yeah. Oh, wait. I have it in front of me, don't I?
Yeah, I was
48.
going to say, this is the birthday segment.
48.
48, yeah. So he quit coaching at 44? Wow.
That's crazy.
Was it that recent?
He still looks like he's 23. He's got
a
little boy face.
Bob Odenkirk is 62.
Legend.
Such a legend.
Mr. Show.
For so many reasons.
All right, Jake. Actor Jeff Goldblum is 72.
From Jurassic Park.
He's behind you.
Life finds a way.
It does.
God, that movie rules so hard.
Carlos Mencia is 57.
I've been steal ya.
Lawrence opened for him recently.
Cool.
Did he do Lawrence's entire set?
That'd be
after
funny.
he was done?
That'd be funny. Shaggy is 56.
Never got that.
His one song.
I never got him, but I never got like the Jamaican thing.
Is that the Because I Got High guy?
No, that's Afro Man.
Afro Man.
What's Shaggy? Oh, wasn't me?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Call me in the shower. Wasn't me.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like, there was a period of time where, like, the Kingston thing got popular. You'll still hear it every now and then. It's very popular in British rap music.
Mm-hmm.
But where hooks were just all of a sudden being sung, like, in very Jamaican style.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it.
You'll notice that very prevalent if you get into the show Top Boy.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's the soundtrack to that is amazing. I found myself Shazamming the shit out of that show.
The Baja Men didn't do it for you?
No. No.
Was that Hey, we want some...
No, it's Who Let the Dog
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And I had their CD as a kid, and I think their CD had 3 songs on it. And so obviously I wanted to listen to Who Let the Dogs Out and had to listen to their other 2 garbage songs. But
Baja Man.
let's see. All right, couple for Danny.
I'm ready.
Zach Hansen is 39.
Was he the one Davey wanted to hook up with?
Is he a member of the band Hanson?
He is.
Yeah. Okay. I was like, is this one of Ozzy's bass players or something? Like, why are you gearing this towards me?
And Bobby Blotzer, 66.
Oh, Bobby Blotzer would be the drummer for Rat, Jake.
Wow.
Yep.
Bobby Blotzer. Other members also include Stephen Piercy on lead vocals, Robin Crosby on guitar, Warren DeMartini on lead guitar, and Juan Crucier on bass.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
It's great watching it live. I love seeing it. And
There's only about 20 bands I can do that for.
That's pretty solid, dude.
And Mark Jones's favorite rapper, 21 Savage, is 32.
21.
Can you do something for me?
21, can you do something for me?
Born on this day, now dead. Daniel Boone.
He was a big man.
Timothy Leary.
Acid, baby.
This says LSD advocate.
Yeah, he created it, or kind of.
He was a big proponent, advocate for mind-altering
not mental health or charity.
I mean,
here's a guy who has never done nor knows anyone who has done acid and asked him about it. Trust me, buddy. Mushrooms, maybe more my kick. That's a mental health journey and improvement for you, right there.
Well, I'm saying typically when you have advocate after your name, it's for a good cause. Not
it is a good
cause.
It
LSD. They were looking at that to. I mean, honestly, it wasn't ever meant for recreational purposes. It was supposed to be used as in tandem with like psychotherapy and
there's Dare Blake over here
and healing trauma and stuff like that.
You need to put it down, guys.
Then you realize that fucking Pink Floyd is awesome on that shit.
Curly Howard from the Three Stooges, born on this day, now dead.
Curly.
Annette Funicello, a Mouseketeer in the Mickey Mouse Club.
She did all the surf movies, too. She was a va-va-voom back in her day.
And Magnus Huss, a Swedish doctor who coined the term alcoholism and was the first to define it as a disease.
That's right.
Did you learn that on, I don't know, when the nurse came in to talk to people?
No.
Dead on this day, still dead. Jacob Wetterling, the focus of the In the Dark podcast. If you've seen that.
I've not. Have you?
He was 11. I didn't know if it was a big deal or not.
In Stranger Things?
No, In the Dark. I guess he died. And In the Dark.
I thought you said he was 11.
No, he died at the age
it.
of 11.
You don't watch Stranger Things, do you?
No.
Yeah, there's a character named 11.
You know what?
And Jake's being an asshat.
I am
That was today in
fire
history.
today.
Tell us about the Mavs app.
Yeah, so this was announced. They've been sort of slow trickling the
I
information.
got you, Rob. There we go.
Oh, yeah, by the way, happy 50th to
Who?
Steve Noviello.
Hey.
My good friend from Fox 4.
Nice.
Oh.
Yeah, he's a sailor. Look at that.
He looks cool as a
Good
sailor.
It's me, Steve Noviello.
That was cool? That's how he looks or sounds when he was cool?
Well, he was a sailor. He's Popeye.
Yeah, but I don't
Got it,
know.
right?
You did something to Popeye there that didn't feel.
Ooh, it's me, Popeye.
So back to the Mavs. Obviously, the games will be televised on Channel 29.
Mm-hmm.
KFAA, a WFAA affiliate, Tegna affiliate. And now we know a few more details. So if you do not have cable, DirecTV, Fubo, I believe has Channel 29, your YouTube TV, you are Hulu Live TV, the Mavs will have a subscription streaming service. Now, initially, this will be inside the NBA app. You will be able to pay $125 for the season or $15 a month. And for a limited time, if you subscribe for the season-long one, you got 2 tickets to a game or a $75 merch card. So if you pay $125,
dude,
you get every game, you get a $75 merch card, get yourself some. They have awesome NBA merch now is fantastic. So
Mavstore.com is badass.
yeah, subscription service free for fans who are season ticket holders, if you happen to be in that ilk. So if you do that, here's the way I understand it. And by the way, a couple months from now, they'll have their own thing like Mavs TV, which will be a little bit different. But right now, you would be doing this,
and it's transferable. Your subscription will be transferable
I believe so.
to Mavs TV. Okay.
The way that it would work now is if you sign up for this Mavs streaming subscription, you would just use your email and password for the NBA app. So if you are someone who has League Pass and you can get every game but the Mavericks games, now it's just the same thing. There's an NBA app on your TV or in your app store, or there's an NBA app on your phone, or you can go to the NBA website. And if you sign up for the streaming subscription, you can watch it there. My understanding is that regarding DVR, the games will be available in full about 1 hour after they conclude. And you can pause and rewind and then ultimately fast forward after basically halftime. So if you jump in, I think, a quarter into the game, you're probably going to have to watch until halftime before you can go back.
You can pause.
You can pause.
You can't rewind back to the beginning.
Right.
Of
And I
the
mean,
game.
technically, I guess what you could do is you could start it and pause it right away if you wanted to.
That's
and then
true.
you could back it up. But if you don't want to do that, it'll be available an hour after. I believe after halftime, you'll be able to go back to the start of the game. So it's effectively and functionally a DVR. Like, they're not calling it that, but if it saves all the games and you can rewind and fast forward with some slight limitations to it, effectively that is a DVR. The other option I learned about when listening to Followell and Damaris' podcast that they put out for Studio 41, Take That With You, if you're going to go the
digital antenna
route, which does work.
I can vouch. It
pretty
does.
cheap, $30-$40.
Yeah, $27 for mine.
So there is a piece of hardware called a Tablo, Tablo, and you can buy one with an antenna. I think some of them have that, some of them don't. They're between $100 and $140. It is a digital television DVR, and it runs through Wi-Fi. So if you don't want to sign up for the subscription, you can still just use this thing to get Mavs games, and it'll save anything that comes on any HD channel. You see it right there on video. That's all you need. And then you don't pay the Mavs if you don't want. So either way, you're basically looking at about $120 for the whole season. In this particular case, the latter, you get the hardware, and you can DVR anything on it. In the former case, you pay that, and you get 2 tickets or a gift card for merch until they run out. And you have almost all the capabilities of streaming with DVR. And the games will be there afterwards. So, or for a vast, I don't know about majority, but a lot of people just have DirecTV, Fubo, or, any number of cable channels. So
that's good to know.
They're making.
What are you going to do? Are you going to do the subscription?
It depends.
I already got my antenna. I'm going to try the antenna route and see how convenient that is for me, because it does make you commit to watching the games when they start.
Yeah, that's tough for me.
It's going to be, I think it might be tough for me. So I'm thinking maybe after about a week of me missing games and not being able to go back and pull audio from them. That's one great thing about for us. It's a kind of important. I might opt for just subscribing to the damn thing.
Once I found out that all the games will live there, or at least the most recent ones, then that is pretty big for me.
Yep.
So I probably will do the streaming thing at first. Hell, I don't start most games until halftime, given my scene.
Yeah, me too, man.
So if I can jump in at half and run back, and I can see, watch it at my speed, that's huge. And I know that part of the backlash is that you have to pay something if you don't have access to channel 29 via your provider.
Yep.
A lot of the games are going to be on WFAA.
15?
Yeah, so that's a good amount. You're going to have some TNT games in there.
True.
Playoffs.
So I don't know. People are mad, I think, because the Stars happened at roughly the same time, and theirs is free. What I would say just is we'll see how it all works out, because I have my doubts personally about having all of your games on an app for free. But I could be wrong. But in any case, it's not that much money if you care about the Mavs.
I think the antenna is interesting to me in one regard, because I've had problems with AT&T internet in my neighborhood, And if my internet goes out, I can't watch TV.
That's a good point too.
Now I can. And when I set that thing to auto program, and I've got like 115 channels.
I had no idea.
Of just over the air, whatever, antenna TV.
There's so much shit out there you don't even know exists.
My Spanish is terrible, therefore most of it's not useful to me.
Yeah, but I did it for my grandfather one time, like when he was like, yeah, I guess I have to have this for, you know what it was? Is that they had local weather all the time. Like they would just run it like on a loop. And he's like, I just want to watch the weather.
That's awesome.
I love it.
It was like 8-3 or something.
I can't wait to get there.
And so I went over. I bought him when I went over there. I was like, there's a lot of channels here. Just random stuff. Yeah. So in any case, you'll be fine.
You can watch the Mavs and Mexican Dracula all in one night.
Sábado Gigante.
Vampiro.
Get him out of here! He's got AIDS!
Adios, mofo.
We gotta go before this becomes a zoo.
Thank you for watching my video. Subscribe and type for my name if you want to watch more of my videos.
No puppet.